Yes, I, a special one from the CEO, stand coming with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band, charges on the beat.
On the spoon to get your information. On the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon, spoon, spoon television. Spoon, spoon, spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon, you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Monrovia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Maryland to spoon. To spoon. If you eat kepan, gradually, my brother to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio to spoon. To spoon. You wanna get a news update, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, 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 kilibamba. What I want? Yes, what you got today?
Spoon TV. Spoon.
Yes, what you got today?
Spoon. Spoon TV. Spoon.
Bada 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 bada.
Spoon TV, Spoon Entertainment. On the spoon to get your information. On the spoon to be.
Yes, I, a special one from the CEO, stand coming with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band, charges on the beat.
On the spoon to get your information. On the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon, spoon, spoon television. Spoon, spoon, spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon, you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Monrovia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. To spoon. To spoon. You from Fonjema, Maryland to spoon. To spoon. If you eat kepan, gradually, my brother to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a Kilibamba, 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 kilibamba. What I want? Yes, what you about today?
Spoon TV. Spoon.
Yes, what you about today?
Spoon.
Beseku.
Spoon TV. Spoon.
Bada.
Spoon.
Kidibidi dabado.
Spoon TV. Spoon Entertainment.
Kuwa. Beseku, kudileo. Kuwa, kudileo.
On the spoon. To get
Yes, what
your
you want?
information. On the spoon.
Yes, sir. A special one from the CEO, Stan Tunnel with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band. Charges on the beat.
On the spoon. To get your information. On the spoon. To be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station.
Okay, I'd like to say welcome to another edition of the program Spoon Talk. Tonight, we're live on Spoon TV, we're live on Fabric TV, and we're live on Super TV as well. We're also live on YouTube, Spoon Talk Live. I want to say welcome to Liberia's most informative talk show on radio and online. My name is Nelson Colette, and I would like to now bring in Dr. Richardson. But just as I do this, please try to share the show because this is going to be another fascinating edition of Spoon Talk. Let me say good evening to you, Dr. Richardson.
Nelson, hello. You're putting in the hours though. I kind of was passing through last night. I don't even know. It was probably like 11 o'clock when I was already in bed. I saw you out there with the guys. I was like, wow, Nelson really working, like doing double job. How you managing? How are you doing today? You awake?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You said, well, I'm awake, or I didn't get
Yeah.
that part.
Are you awake?
The
Are you awake and alert? Because I saw you last night, late last night.
Oh yeah, we were on last night on the late night politics, and after that, Liberian time here it was around about 5 a.m. when we got through. So I slept for some hours, yes, and I was able to go out to do one or two things, and then we're back here again.
Yes.
But it's good to see you, Dr. Richardson.
Thank you. Thank you for everything that you do. I mean, you're really making sure that Liberians get the information that they need to make good decisions for our country. Come October 10th, I saw that you and many guys were exchanging ideas and, everybody advancing their positions on various issues in Liberia. So, but it's good to be here today. We're awake. We thank God. We can feel our toes and breathe. So it's really good to be here. Well, it appears that there was a lot of things happening in Liberia. I saw a little bit on Facebook. I was running around earlier getting some errands done. I saw camping. The people outside for camping for real. Camping season and stuff for
Oh
real.
yeah,
The people outside. Everybody outside.
yeah, sure. The people can say we outside, so everybody outside right now.
Everybody outside for camping.
Those, yeah. So those who were not talking the politics are talking the politics now, because we are at a critical juncture right now where it's gonna be about a better Liberia or a worse Liberia. So people are getting involved. I see even the females. For some time, females have not really been too much involved into the politics. I record so many years back when political discussions were held. It was only the men, but now when it's campaign, when it's campaign time or some of those political gatherings, you see females are really engaged with the process, and that's why it is right now. So yeah,
Yeah, that's really great to hear. Female make up at least close to half% of the population in Liberia. So I believe that it's really important to get involved because many times when bad things happen in our country, any kind of adverse situations that happen in the country, women tend to suffer the most. I mean, we have to uphold the men, for you guys to stay strong. We got to take care of the children. We got to, go out to the market, find food. Sometimes, we got to keep providing small talk your men, so you can gain your strength. So it's a lot that we have to carry on our shoulder. So
yeah.
I'm glad that they're getting involved. So I hope a lot of them can call in as well to tell us their thoughts. So what's going on in the country? I know we're expecting former Senator Sandra Johnson. He's coming in today, right? Or either he's gonna be a guest
Yeah,
today.
yeah, sure. I saw
Okay.
that.
All right. So I'm sure the panelists gonna be able
Yes.
to ask him questions. Uh, what's going on in the country, Nelson?
Okay, so Dr. Richardson, lots of things happening. Um, Lots of things happening. So the campaign is on. Um, Yesterday we're reporting about the president's visit to District Number 8, Montserrat County, where Akaras Gray is the lawmaker. And so at the president's visit, he spoke of a lot of things and asking Liberians to vote him based on his records, based on what he has done for the people of Liberia for just 5 to 6 years. And
Mm-hmm.
he outlined developments such as the completion of the executive mansion, the the construction of more roads in the country, and a lot more. The inclusion of more females in his government as reasons why Liberians should re-elect him. That's his record. He has constructed more roads and built more hospitals than all previous governments combined. Well, the president did not stop there. Today he was in District 16. So from District 8, where the president made those statements, today he was in District 16. And there again, he was again selling his platform, sending out his campaign messages to the people. But one key thing he said at the District 16 campaign activity was that uh, Seditians should stay away from violence. Liberians should avoid violence of any form as they engage the electoral process and a lot more. So we're getting all of the clips ready as well. We're gonna have them highlighted here as we go on.
Awesome, great.
Yeah. So that is
I'm sure Stanton's gonna enjoy the clip, so that's good. Um, yeah, I think I agree with him. One of the few things we are going to agree on is that Liberians should stay free of violence so that we can have a free and fair elections. So that part I agree with him on. In terms of other developments, is remains to be argued with. For example, I the RIA is the number one road. Almost $114 million was spent on that road, and I don't know if it's completed yet. But the last time I was in Liberia, it was dangerous to travel on that road. So that's something that I'm holding him accountable for. The rest of the roads, for example, Bone County Road, Ganta Road, I can't hold him for that because he didn't sign the paperwork for those roads. So I don't think he can't own those roads. The other roads in the city, like the area, the community roads that he did. The last time I was there, when it first was done, they were beautiful. You could drive through some of the areas in Monrovia, but this last, what's that? I was in Liberia in June, I believe, right? In June, they were all potholes and
Okay.
water filled. They were damaged. So I don't know what maintenance plan, was made for them, but it didn't seem to be, you know, productive. I'm sorry, one of my daughters. Go ahead, Nelson. One of my daughters just disrupted me. Go ahead, Nelson.
Okay, so that is that talking about the campaign activity. So as we go on, I think that there are lots of different messages that will pop up. Political leaders will say a lot of things. Some will be true, some will not be true. But that is just a brief on the statement made by the president today. So one of the training issues is that the former Vice President Joseph Boakai, standard bearer of the Unity Party, will be announcing the full rescue mission campaign team tomorrow, August 10th. So Liberians are waiting, especially those who are supporters of the Unity Party, are waiting to see who are those that are going to make it up on the list of the Unity Party. Talking about the campaign team, it's like you go into a football match, and you play a game before the time, who's playing number 9, who's playing number 8, and so forth. So the full campaign team will officially be announced to Liberians, and that's something very important. Just thought to pass on. And now, aside from that, um, the former president of the Liberia Council of Churches, Bishop Kotu Brown, just talking about some of the trending issues. So today he's been in the news, um, appealing to the legislature, appealing to the Senate pro tempore Albert Chair and members of the Liberian legislature to trash, to kick out any abortion bill that goes before them at the legislature. And according to the former president of the Liberia Council of Churches, abortion is can be equated to the killing of innocent babies, innocent children. So he wants them to trash any bill of such that will ever go before them, because according to him, it is against biblical principles, and he thinks nothing of such should be given a space in Liberia. So that's from the president of the Liberia Council of Churches, Bishop Kotu Brown.
Uh, you
Are you
know,
there, Dr. Richardson?
yeah, that's consistent with the biblical principle. Most people who are religious oriented, this is what I expect them to say. But, you know, I'm wondering about women who are raped or women who can afford their children, even though they give birth to the kids, but then they hit hard times. I wonder if the church
Hmm.
will make provision for to support those type of women as well. I understand the rationale for um, them trashing the abortion bill. I understand the rationale, but I want to have a balance. Be able to also provide support to women. When they are in the situation of rape or in a situation of even if they have the baby. Will they help them support the baby? So
Yeah,
just
and that's another aspect.
mhm. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just saying that's another aspect. That's something that has been a serious debate. Even here in Liberia, has been a very serious debate.
Mhm.
Now I remember a couple of months back, Ambassador Rufus Nouvel um, took up an issue. He was writing a communication to the legislature to come up with a law, to create the law, to craft a law that would make it mandatory, or that would criminalize situations wherein men will have babies by women and just abandon those kids with the women, and then those women will have to struggle, go through the tough or the difficult times to bring those kids up. So um, this statement from the former president of the Liberia Council of Churches just sort of maybe is somehow related to that. But that has been a serious, debate in the country as well, Dr. Richardson, talking about whether or not we should have a law, that will either make abortion legal or make it illegal. But I think what Bishop Cottle Brown is doing now is he's taking the side of the debate wherein he thinks from the biblical perspective, it is not okay biblically for people to carry on an abortion. So that's why he's making this appeal to the legislature.
And actually, that argument is happening here too in the United States. Of course, the famous case Roe versus Wade was just overturned. So it's an argument all over, per se, in the United States as well as in Liberia. So we'll wait and see how it plays out. I know, women now have to find different ways to uh, manage with their bodies. And some women argue that it is my body, so let me make the decision about my body. But then other
Mm.
people say, well, it's a religious thing. It's a child. It's another human life. So it's an interesting argument, interesting argument. Some Zeus Carter, who always follows us, he's an avid follower. Hi, Zeus, how are you? He said, "Is Liberia a religious or secular state?" And I know where that question is going. So you guys, our audience can answer. Is it, I guess, a religious or secular state?
Wow.
Because if it is a
Um,
religious state, then obviously, we can
so
advise. Mhm. Go ahead, Nelson.
yeah. So what I've heard, the the legislators, all of those individuals at the legislature, and even some of those at the judiciary say, whenever this conversation pop up, even sometimes during some interviews we have with them, is that Liberia is a secular state, not a religious one. That's why even the constitution of the country calls for a separation of religion from the state. So it provides freedom of worship, freedom for every individual to carry on their religious practice, as much as it does not um, temper us with the right of any other citizen or resident of the country. You can do that. So there's freedom of religion, which then takes us to the place of the secularity of the state. But yes, it's a debate because even with the Constitution talking about the separation of religion and the state and all of that, and some of what the legal people will say, the religious people still hold on to the perception, especially those from the Christian faith, which I belong to as well. Some of them hold on to the belief that Liberia is a Christian state. Why? Yes, there are others who say that no, it is not a Christian state, but it's rather a secular state. But when it comes to that, I think I'm neutral on that. I don't think I have a side on whether it's a Christian state or secular state or not. But that's just the information and what we've gathered over the time.
Yes, and it's just certainly so many aspects to argue from. I'm even thinking right now, where does my right as a woman to make decisions about my own body, where does that stop? And somebody else's rights to say no, I should have a child, where does that begin? So, it's an ongoing debate. Yeah, yeah.
And interestingly, the former president of the Council of Churches, uh, he in this appeal, he referenced a whole. I mean, there were lots of scriptural references that he included in the appeal to back to give more reason to back his argument, to give more reasons to the legislators why they should not, for any reason, at any point in time, consider legalizing abortion in the country. Yeah, he backed that by lots of scripture references. Yeah.
Interesting. We'll see how it unfolds. We'll just see how it unfolds.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yes. Today, the spokesperson of the MDR appeared on a local radio station. Well, he said that uh the government of JMB and JKK, Senator Kuhn, they are going to go after the WIA officials, those in government now who are, in his words, carrying on the court. Yeah, um, that's just where I like to stop with respect to the training issues.
Nelson, you froze for a second. Can you repeat what you said?
So I was saying that he said on a local radio station that the um, the Baka Kun administration will prosecute.
Okay. Nelson is frozen. So I'm going to bring in the panelists that are in the back. I see Mr. Maxwell and Mr. Jeru is in the back. And Nelson, I think you had concluded on telling us the training issues, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nelson. I can bring Mr. Jeru, who is quite on time today. He said he's not traveling. He was going to be on time today. And I'm also going to bring in Mr. Maxwell, who is also here. He's actually got here before me. Can you believe it? Hi, gentlemen. How are you guys doing today?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
That's
Dr.
good.
Richardson.
Thank you. Mr. Jerry, how are you doing? He does his camera test all the time.
uh, and
Yeah,
to all our listeners that are there, to the many individuals that are making comments, welcome to the show once again. We are here. I want you all to, from my side, I want you all to know, despite the debates that you hear, we are all trying to find a way forward for Liberia. We're trying to hash out the key issues. And Spoon TV being one of the best and brightest democratic promoter in Liberia through good governance and media is doing well to make sure that we, not just the panelists, because some of us are official speakers of parties that are here. We're not just panelists. Making sure that we are pushing our policies and candidates' ideas for a better Liberia.
absolutely. I'm glad you made that clarification because I'm actually just a supporter of Mr. Cummings. You are official speaker of Dr. Monaba, and I believe Jerry is an official speaker of Councillor Teron Gongolo. So, yeah, good clarification. But anyway, you guys want to just help me recognize 5 persons, maybe Maxwell, you can, Mr. Prince, you can start. And then Mr. Jiru will help me do another 5, just because I always like to welcome them. They're such an important part of the program. So just any 5, doesn't matter where you start from.
J. William Davis, welcome to the program. Good evening from my end. Thank you very much. Good evening here as well. Patricia Williams, welcome to the program. Moses Kamara, welcome. Samukai Kamara, welcome to the program. Clarence Benson, welcome to the program. We appreciate you for being online, for being here. Roland Ben, Ken Logan, welcome as well. Chris Vala, welcome as well. Hansford Joseph, welcome as well.
Thank you. Mr. Jiru, hi, how are you today? Can you please welcome some of our viewers? It doesn't matter where you start, just about 5 or 6 of them.
Well, thank you very much. And let me start, what a better way to start from Peterson Yante says, Councillor Tiawan Gonglo will bring transformation to the Liberian people. Ramsey GB Junse watching from Kabak community. I know Kabak community very well. And coming to Comfort Flegners is watching. John Toze watching from Rockton, Washington State. Oh, you are so far away in the West. And Mohammed K.S. Massacre say he's watching from Old Road, Ta Town, oldest Congo town. And he said, JNB, are you talking about John and B brothers? What are you talking about? J and B with Joseph and Boakai. Meet Madia Moses. Good evening, Omen Zizo. A better Liberia is possible. What a good way to begin with and end with Tiawan Say Gongo.
Good. I'm just going to recognize at least 5 persons, and then we can go on to what's on our mind. Buckeye P. Massacre from Twin City, Ernest U.J. Preston. Welcome to the show. Tina Brown is also watching us from England. Oh, wow. I like to travel vicariously, outside of the United States with other people. So England, yes. Darlington Chargy is watching us from Castle Boulevard. Matthew G. Oh, that just went fast. Matthew, just hang on a second. I'm going to go back to you. Matthew G. Yogar is watching us from Plunker Junction. Thank you, Matthew, for being here. Edward Benda says, hi, doctor. How are you? Nathan Bernard says he's watching us from Australia. He's also supporting JNB and J. Cohn. He wrote that in there. Jacque Mars is also watching us. Jacque Marks is watching us. Thank you for being here. Roland Ben is also from Atlanta, Georgia. UJ Bailey from Minnesota. Morris Harris is also watching us. Emmett Pala is watching us from Minnesota. Well, I want to welcome all of you. We'll just roll straight into having our panelists tell us what is on their mind. So thank you for joining us. We appreciate you being here. Hopefully the information that we'll provide to you today will be useful in terms of making a great decision towards moving our country forward. That's all we want. We want a better Liberia. That's the reason why we come here. And we have a crucial decision to make. October 10th, we can either go backward or move forward. So, Prince, I want to start with you. What is on your mind?
Well, Liberia is always on my mind, as it is for Dr. Moniba, which is always on his mind. Today, Dr. Moniba and myself were having a conversation, and he was telling me some of the stories that he's heard from the campaign, from people in the fields, in the communities, people telling him their stories and their issues that they are dealing with in terms of rule of law, poverty, corruption, and stuff like that. Then I went on to, I remember myself going through this conversation of reminding him and, telling him my story, my own story about, things that I know that some people may have forgotten and where we've come from. Our democracy is still young. We're a post-war democracy. Liberians have been enjoying peace and stability now for almost, I think, if I'm not mistaken, for almost 20 plus years now. So we are just right off the rails of war. And if I go back to that, I do remember firmly that so many of us who were on Bushwa Island at the time, specifically Looking Town, saw the atrocities that were created by the war. We know fully well how people suffer. I think a lot of Liberians that are listening to my voice will remember many areas that people had to go through, like Adam and Eve. There was a famous place called Adam and Eve where in order for you to cross that water, you had to go through there because people were suffering. People suffered around the U.S. Embassy. Fortunately, as a young man, I was part of the group that was dragging bodies to the U.S. Embassy to draw attention to the atrocities of indiscriminate bombing from both sides at the time. So these things are things that we need to remember because they are very important in our decision making and valuing our democracy for what it is. I remember at that point in time, the only thing that we were all yearning for was peace and stability. And this is what we have here today. And this is what we are talking about, how important it is. And Dr. Moniba is very, very keen on stressing that his position is to make sure that Liberians continue to enjoy this peace and stability that we have. And not just only to continue to enjoy, but to enhance it, in that young people will need to have more jobs so that they can have more credibility and more integrity in their daily pursuit in their life that they have right now, to be able to put a stop to corruption in all its forms, to be able to institute measures that will put into place guardrails so that we can plug in all those loopholes that have created and have festered and flourished corruption in our country. So these things are things that are on my mind and are on the voters' mind today. It's on Dr. Moniba's mind today. So we'll be able to go through some of these things and we'll talk about it.
Great. Thank you, Prince. I want to welcome Marley to the show. I'm also going to move on to Mr. Jerry. Mr. Jerry, what is on your mind today?
Two things are on my mind. I want to first begin with the announcement by the MDR spokesperson that the GMB Kun ticket will prosecute President Weah and his government officials. I welcome that statement from the MDR, and I would like President Weah to be prosecuted as well. And I can rest assure you that those working in President Weah's government will be the target of legal suits when Councillor Gonglu becomes president. However, I am a little bit troubled that it's coming from the MDR, because MDR only put forward a vice presidential candidate. And I don't know, the argument now is that JMB cannot take blame for anything in the early government because he was vice president. And so nobody should blame him because he didn't have the mandate. Now the NDR that has the vice presidential slot, they are making promises on behalf of JMB that they will prosecute George Weah. I think that should come from the Unity Party. Because when it comes to the Unity Party, I believe JMB will give it his blessing. However, I do not doubt the fact that if JMB wants to prosecute them, he will. But when it comes from the MDR, it's troubling. The MDR should not be speaking for the JMB Kun team. It sends a mixed signal for me. And I think it argue against the previous argument by JMB and his followers that he was vice president and cannot take blame for what happened in the alien government. So we don't want to take the NDR promises for that. It's unfortunate, as much as we all want George Weah and his cronies to be punished for the looting of the national coffers. We also don't want to take false promises from the NDR, except the NDR is telling us that they want to control the Unity Party politics today. Then we can say, yeah, but until we can get that confirmation, we cannot take such a high-level promise from the NDR. And now, I believe the Unity Party people have a plan to deal with George Weah and his government. I believe they have a plan. Honestly, I do believe they have a plan. And if that plan is to prosecute former government official for looting the coffers, as we see George Weah today, he continued his campaign in parts of Monserrado County today. He started on Monday. Yesterday, he was on it. Today, he's on it. While using national resources, government funds. I believe Samuel Tue had dished out enough money to him, buying 72 trucks, pickup trucks, and 200 motorbikes distributed in CDC campaign localities. This is what we don't like. This is what the people don't want. You look in their face and look at them beg and steal their money and tell them, say, to hell with you. That is what Joshua is doing. And I hope, apart from the NDR promise, the Unity Party should have a plan, and I believe they should have a plan. But for us from the Gonglo camp, you people know already, Councillor Gonglo have been saying it from day one, that those who are eating now in the George Weah government, you are licking up to your elbow now. You must lick it. But if he becomes president, the grease that you put all the way to your elbow, you will regret ever rubbing no grease to your elbow because you will be prosecuted. And one of the first order of business is to engage the Liberian people to amend the constitution to remove that clause that says if the president commits anything in his administration, he cannot be held responsible after his administration. That clause, Councillor Gonglo hate that clause. He said this is the beacon of corruption in Liberia because president believe that they can steal as much as they can steal, they can do anything, they can kill, they can do everything they can do. Like 8 auditors are dying in Joshua government, no result. And when Joshua leave power, nobody will go after him for anything. This is appalling. The second thing I want to say, which is very short.
That's 30 seconds.
20 seconds. The second thing I want to say is, I don't know, yesterday, I promised to talk about it today, and I don't know how the rest of the parties, except for Lionel, I think Lionel, vice presidential candidate, attended the debate. Am I correct, or Prince?
Yeah.
Vice presidential candidate attended the debate.
You said that.
Unity Party
Yes.
candidate, vice
Absolutely.
president. Unity Party vice presidential candidate Chile, he gave gun. He didn't want to participate. He didn't know what to say to the Liberian people
Because we were too heavy. We were heavy. We were heavy. We brought facts.
Got all right to talk.
I'm told that Councillor Bronsky was unavailable. I don't know if she traveled or not, but I was shocked because Jeremiah Kun was right there in Monrovia. I don't know why he didn't attend. But you know, I hope JMB will attend the presidential debate. They will not give excuses and say the old man had to go to America again. The presidential debate will be coming out soon. So Gongo was there to see his vice presidential candidate, Mr. Yagbawolo King Ure. No, let me call the name correctly. Not Yagbawolo King Ure. Emmanuel King Ure Yagbawolo was present, and he performed excellently yesterday. I was so happy when I watched the video. I felt so good. So I just have 20 seconds. I could have gone more, but I get 20 seconds.
You have an opportunity to talk again, but I have before I move on to Mwali. Who did he debate?
Oh, the debate was intended for all the vice presidential candidates. All the other people did not attend, but Lionel, vice presidential candidate,
Madam Grace Brown.
Madam Grace Brown was present.
Yep.
So there were I think 2 or 3 presidential candidates, vice presidential candidates that participated in the debate. I hope the presidential candidate will not be like that because I'm really interested in hearing the issues. I will hear issues from Gonglo. I will hear issues from other people. But I don't know if you can discuss issue rather than I'm popular, I can win.
Can you pass the tape, the video on to me? I'm curious.
Yeah, I will definitely. And
then I think it's important to announce it if they have
Can we throw a jab to Mo Ali a little bit? I don't know whether JMB will discuss issue rather than saying I'm very popular. The Liberian people already made up their mind.
So Mo Ali, you're welcome to come in. Since Jerry already took a jab at you.
That Jerome throwing with Remy right at him. The first thing is, I have not heard about any vice presidential candidates debate. I have absolutely no idea who hosted it until now, and I'm sure most of the other political parties did not know about it. And when you talk about presidential debate, the last time in 2017, I knew that GMB came up one of the best in the 2017 presidential debate. The man who won the election today never attended any debate. We always prepare for debate.
That's true about that.
That debate is not a problem. You know, but you know the way you bias gets in, you find excuse for Councillor Bromsky. They say, oh, Jeremiah, what they met Chile. But let me tell you a few things. Number one, on behalf of the JMD campaign, the Rescue Mission campaign, we'd like to extend our deepest condolences to the ANC family for the loss of their national chairman, the senator of Bapulu County. That condolence also go to the people of Bapuru and his family is a loss for our country. And, you know, that is what it is. Today we're passing and tomorrow we could just fall. This is something that I want to talk about. I haven't spoken about it much, but because it has become a campaign thing, the campaign thing for basically the CDC and the ANC. I am not going to talk about the CDC because I expect they will parade with this thing. The thing about somebody's health that the ANC, particularly those in the very top hierarchy of the ANC, have decided to make the only campaign thing, the only thing that they know to campaign on about Joseph Boakai's health is appalling. That when you go on most of the ANC people, their platform, the only thing you see, oh, Joseph Boakai is sick, and he say he not sick, we will see. And you know, you do it to such extent that people die and others disrespect the death of people. You're sending Martin Pehe, who go on her page to post before her Mariah. Oh, what happened? JMB now run away now in America to go do he missing action to go do heart surgery. I'm talking about this because I felt terrible today. A good man passed off. And the ascending Martin Pehe is making mockery, wishing for death for JMB. And then people will go under that post and say, yeah, my condolences for the death of your very healthy and energetic chairman. This is what you get when you are wishing other people death. Let's come to this debate and talk about the capability and capacity of people. JMB health and his death and his living does not lie in your hand. You so much hate JMB, then you hate George Weah, who has plundered this country to nowhere. The man who yesterday when he passing the round, the whole country clapping. He walks down to Waterside and they think the market women have to say, our market leaking, our bidding ratting. That does not concern the ANC folks. The only thing that concerns them is Joseph Boakai sick. Joseph Boakai can't make it. Joseph Boakai will die. Joseph Boakai going to hospital. Hey man. And that's the only thing you get to campaign about. And every day you go on when other people talk, you say elevate the debate. But you're trunking the debate in the dumper. When other people want to take it to the dumper, then you say elevate the debate. I think it's about time that you stop that kind of attitude. These campaigns are not about people wishing death on another person. Let's come here to talk all the things. You say JMB not capable, we can debate that one. But when you start talking about JMB will die tomorrow, JMB can't make it, and all those kind of things. It's for me, it's not campaigning. So we want to debate. I will not come on this radio to talk about anyone's health because the most healthy person can fall today and die. Footballers who exercise every day. I was watching a match in 2003, the semi-final of the Confederation, the FIFA World Confederation Cup between Cameroon and Colombia. Mark Vivian Foy in that very June. We walked under the bullets to go to West Point to watch that match. The man jumped out to board and he came down, he was dead. That was a very healthy man. Antonio Puerta was playing for Sevilla. Right on the football field. The man went to take the ball from outside, he dropped, he died. So we should not make these campaigns about whether JMB dying tomorrow or dying today. There are other healthy people. There's a Kennedy, a person who was a candidate in this election, the person fall down, they die. They're not going to be contesting on the campaign. We have been hit with 3 different incidents of violence. The Unity Party, we have cataloged them, and will make the appropriate representation to the Elections Commission. On day 1, I'm not talking about that cascade thing, right before the Vamoma place there, seditions attack us. They took a knife for one of our partisans. They beat our cheerleader, our district coordinator, women coordinator from District 9. And the night JMB came, they hit one of our supporters on the head and wounded him so badly. EPS officer attacked a motorbike rider because the guy had JMB sticker on his motorbike. We all went to Farmington, all of the political parties, and we signed up on the Farmington Declaration not to engage into violence. They are beginning to engage into violence. CDC, if you are losing the election and you know that you are losing, forget it. Go sit down. Lead the election between we the opposition. We're not going to attack each other physically. We will come and we'll debate it out and let the Liberian people decide among the opposition who they want. Because your only thing is to bring fighting so that tomorrow you say, oh, fighting happened. We now agree to the result or this and that. Nobody is going to give you that credence. We'll catalog all of these incidents of violence and we'll make the appropriate representation to the Elections Commission. Thank you.
Dr. Richardson, you are mute.
So sorry, guys. I want to welcome Mami and Stanton. Just wanted to ask Mami, what's on your mind? Let's keep it to the 2-second mark because we
2
have
seconds or 2 minutes.
2 minutes mark because we have a guest coming in today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but go ahead, Mami. What's on your mind?
Yeah, you set the 2 minutes benchmark, so it pushed me back in my corner. You know,
Yeah,
I was actually trying to roll out Councillor Gonglo's agenda for debt management in Liberia. We observed that the debt is increasing. 13 years ago, we had 4.6 billion debt. Thanks to the Unity Party and the government, they tried to waive that debt. Today, George Weah had added 1.2 billion to the debt stock in 5 years. We can see what happened to that money. We can see how it was invested, where it was invested. We can see the impact. We want to speak directly to Liberians. The government is borrowing the future of your children. What you're supposed to use in the future is what the government is borrowing now. And what is disturbing about it is you can't show anything for what is being borrowed. It is likened to a man who has his wife and his children. Put it in your shoes. Your father has a wife and you as children. The only property you people have is your land and your house. He goes to the bank, he credits a loan, he uses the money to travel to watch football game, he uses the money to call party. He dies, he didn't pay the debt, they come and take you out of your house. This is the situation George Weah is putting the country into. He's borrowing all over the place and using the money for pawn and pageantry. We cannot see the investment. We cannot see the impact in the lives of the people. What is even more dangerous is his desire for a second term. So we just wanted to highlight, maybe at the end of the show, we have a solution for them. We know the United Party waived the debt, but we also know that they brought the debt to 1.2 billion before they left. We have a unique solution for debt management in Liberia, unprecedented, that have never happened in our country, and will bring debt under control and ensure that money borrowed in the future, if we borrow, will be invested and the returns will be used for the people. We just wanted to highlight that debt issue so Liberians going to the polls can know that the future of their children has already been borrowed by George Weah. 5 years' time, 1.2 billion borrowed, nothing to show. Thank you.
Dr. Richardson, you always muted. We're not hearing you. Because of the echo, we have to mute ourselves. Then we'll unmute to speak.
True. I was just saying, Mommy, thank you. Your turn. Your 2 minutes. Thank you for staying with the time constraint.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Richardson. It's going to be a very, very fascinating show today. I will greet everyone on the show, but I'm not going to greet everyone but Prince Maxwell. Today is the 9th. Prince Maxwell people ain't paid yet. So the clients Moriba want to run the country. But that's okay.
Oh, come on.
Let me move on.
It's very properly communicated.
Mo, we're not hearing you, Mo. You want to say something? Let me hear from Mo first. Let Mo was saying something, but I'm hearing. But that's okay. Gibson, don't rub your face. Your people not paying Gibson, but at least the last time you gave her $130. That was from you. It wasn't from Meme. As you know, it is what it is. But all joke aside, we'll be having Dr. Richardson, what are you laughing for? Companies ain't paying nothing yet.
Whatever.
But I don't want to get you in trouble. The only guys that pay on the show that United Party, they paying. Ask Mo Ali, he's the spokesman. But let's move on, folks. Gibson, why are you shaking your head? Don't you think Mo Ali paying? Today, we're begging the people for vote.
I'd more Ali will say they pay when JB is broke. He get money.
At least JB take the on credit. When he win, then he will pay. Just stop, man. Let's get serious for a minute.
They'll increase again.
I mean, please go serious here. But we are waiting for food today.
But Joey will
we are busy today. Today that Joey.
No. Something is shocking to me, folks. You know, I like to do the video. I like to do the pictures, right? You guys think is George Manawia okay? Seriously, I will ask Dr. Richardson. I beg you, Dr. Richardson. I'm not going to use my 2 minutes because I'm uploading these videos. But something is coming to my mind. Is anybody here think that President Weah is okay? Yesterday and today, something is seriously happening to President Weah. Guys, forgive us, and we say this. I do believe it's not about ANC, CPP, or Unity Party. It's not about LPP or Lino. This is about the Liberian people versus George Manawia. And the people speaking, the people saying no to President Weah, the people sending pictures and videos to this network saying, why now, Mr. President? Why are you speaking now? Why are you backing us now? For instance, when these people died, Mr. President, where were you? Why couldn't you speak to the nation? You know, Mo Ali said, I'm going to talk serious thing. Mo Ali, I'm ready yet. We get to the serious issue. To see President George Manneh, we are backing the people today under the rain. And to imagine that this president spent 48 days out of the country enjoying himself, he neglected the people. To see President, we are begging the people today when you have these good Liberians dying and they die. We never heard anything from President George Manawia. He said they were doing boyfriend and girlfriend, some of them. But at today, the president must go to the people and beg. We have come to a place in our life that when the president said, I will complete my mission, and you are washing spoon, and you look at all of these, amen. We have not started the show yet. I just want to ask my fellow Liberian, wherever you may be, which mission President Ware is talking about? More killing, more extrajudicial killing, more massive corruption, building of private homes. But I know that Richardson is restraining me to 2 minutes, so I will pause. But today, everything we will say, the reason why you see President Ware is under the reign is about he losing this election. It's about this election. He began to contemplate. He have come to realize that Richardson, you did this. This is what you do for living. That the stages. You remember the stages? But now he have come to realize that yes, I messed up. And I will pause. I pray nobody interrupt me because I'm going all out, not on opposition leaders. No, I'm going all out on President George Manawia. Why now? Thank you. The good doctor, Francine Chineway Richardson.
Okay, good. I think I would say what's on my mind, and then I'm going to hand the show over to you, Stanton, so you can conduct the rest of the agenda. So there's actually two things that are on my mind. Well, three things more. You're right. I agree with you that we shouldn't make mockery out of people's health. But I also believe that any pre-existing condition of a presidential candidate should be examined to see to what extent that condition will impact their performance as president. So, I agree we shouldn't make mockery, but I think that's if you have a pre-existing condition, we need to talk about that. Mr. Jerry, your point also about MDR triggered some thoughts for me. I remember Jeremiah Cohen was in the in the George Weah government, and he was there when the budget was passed. So I didn't hear him say anything about it. Is he talking about himself? Is he going to investigate himself in terms of what role he played in allowing all of those budgets that didn't manifest to the Liberian people to pass? So that's a question that I have. And lastly, I just want to speak about something Mr. Cummings said that sort of resonates with me. He was talking about how rich our country is. And one of the things he mentioned, something that's been on my mind, is the fact that we can iron ore in our country can finish. I'm a living witness of that. I grew up in an iron ore community. There came a time the bone mining company shut down because the iron ore wasn't as lucrative as it once was. The same thing with Yekapa, the same thing with Bomi Hills. And gold also can finish, although we have a booming gold community in the Cape Mount area, but that can be completed. Mr. Cummings mentioned those minerals that we have, those natural resources that we have can be completed. But then he talked about, having an agriculture-based society where although nobody's making land anymore, but the thing about land is like you can use newer products to get the plants that you want or the products that you want to feed Liberia. So he talked about, mechanized farming. He talked about using new fertilizer. He talked about using new equipments like a tractor trailer that will be able to mow the fields and in an effective way. So all of those things, I believe that contribute to us feeding ourselves and taking care of ourselves as opposed to being dependent on an import-based as opposed to be import-based culture. So I just wanted to say that I really resonated with the agriculture piece of his comment. All right. That's what I have to say. I see Mr. Fagon's in the back where he left. So go ahead, Stanton. I'm going to turn the show over to you.
Oh, thank you very much. While you turn the show over to me, it's going to be a very interesting show. Let me bring in the Honorable Eugene Lamek. Fagon. Fagon, welcome to the show for today. Today is the 9th of August, 2023. It is important for us to talk about the issue. Let me give you your due 2 minutes, Fagon, for you to talk to us what's on your mind. It's 5:07, and then we'll be wrapping out of here, guys. 6:30, take questions. 7 o'clock, we out of here. Again, I have to do that because I'm on strictly assignment from Madame. But it's good to have you, Honorable Fagon. You have your 2 minutes.
Thank you, Stanton, and let me say good evening to my fellow panelists. I'm trying to recover from the long trip, but having said that, the first thing that's on my mind is the gentleman that was forcefully removed from Liberia and returned to Sierra Leone, even though he had requested asylum in the country, fearing for his life. It tells me the high level of ignorance in the George Weah administration, and he is very ignorant. I'm saying to my president, he's very ignorant. When someone tells you that I fear for my life, you don't take a unilateral decision to have officers investigate them, and then you extradite the person to the country that the fear is all about. Now, what if Liberians fleeing the civil war that went to Sierra Leone, Ghana, and other areas, even now, say to somebody, I'm afraid before Koji kills me or this person killed me? Do you think it would be fair to take that person and send them back to Liberia without even giving them an extradition hearing, as is done everywhere in the world? Who does that? I could use much more stronger language against my president today, for real. And this is part of the reason why I don't want him to be president again. Because you have to use your common sense. There is something called asylum. And if this man asks for asylum, you are not the person to take that decision to send him off. It's the court. You ask for Costa, you ask for other people. The people were smart. Election coming, you take them. You could have even said, let me allow you to go to a third country of your choosing. But we cannot keep you here. That would have been better. But you even allow Sierra Leonean forces on our soil and quoting some nonsense ECOWAS law. The same law that you will not get Nessa Doha money for. The same law you will not respect for Cabinet Janet. Is the same law you want to go by today? What will happen now if they execute that man? What will happen if they kill him? It's stupid, in my opinion. This man said, I fear for my life. I cannot go back. I'm not a coup plotter. I've been here in and out for 2 years. And you bundle him up, you and your guys. As if to say, look at such nonsense for our country. And that's why Liberians are not afraid anymore. Look at them. Foreign forces. Why did George Weah not send Liberian army officers to Sierra Leone to collect Henry Costa? Of course, I didn't support it. But why did he not send army officers there? Why did he not send army officers to collect Ase Vatuba? This is why nobody will vote for George Weah. And I'm telling Sierra Leoneans, whom George Weah have encouraged to get ID cards to vote in our constitutional election, democratic elections. There he is sleeping. Every day you are accusing Joseph Boaga of sleeping. What are you doing now, young boy? 56 years old, you sleeping. Then you say the 78-year-old man can sleep. You are the man who can sleep. You know, and I think
your 2 minutes is up. We'll come back to you.
Give me 10 more seconds.
It's just an intro. Yeah, 10 more seconds, please.
Let me say this to all of you on this platform. They should have come with the highest condemnation from, let's assume, without admitting that this man was part of the coup plot. Assuming without admitting, this man should have been given a hearing. You just grab the man and turn him over to the man who said, I fear when I go there, they will kill me. You are heartless. And you have again demonstrated that you cannot be our president come 2023. And the writings are on the wall. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Let's do this program. This program is getting crazy. We already passed the 6,000 mark as per the studio, including Spoon FM, Super FM, and Fabric FM, Spoon TV, Super TV, and Fabric TV. We are talking also about the YouTube and Instagram and all of our social media outlets. Trust me, uh, we already passed the 6,000 folks that are viewing us. We want to say we appreciate you. Thank you for being part of this program, Liberians and non-Liberians alike. We're going to give you a beautiful show today. This is the People's versus George Manawia. The people versus George Manawia. I will start with myself. I understand what folks are saying, but I will be respectful and bring in those guys that came before us because we do not want to be a dictator. So we will start with our brother. I know that Richardson want to be last. We'll start with our brother Gibson Jero. Gibson? Okay, he's somewhat different. We'll bring in Prince Maxwell. Prince, you want to go ahead?
I'm not somewhat different. I'm finding it difficult to unmute myself.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Go to Prince.
Prince, you call me Prince.
It's I mean, we are all here to inform the Liberian people that the current government in administration is bad. It's bad for the 27 years, 23 years of peace we've had in our country. It's just bad all over. The government had amended to increase the value of peace that we have in Liberia. I hear seditionists always say we maintain the peace. We did not give the Liberians in 2017 did not give Liberia so we can maintain the peace. They gave Liberia so we can add value to the peace that we have. That value has been ripped off Liberia. President Weah and most of the people that are around him, which I know them very well, have been living in a bubble for a very, very, very long time. I cannot disagree with Eugene Fagon's position as it pertains to our ability to not protect individuals that are asking for asylum in our country. Not just the Sierra Leone guy, but just the entire immigration system has to be protected. And these are the things that Dr. Clarence Moniba talks about all the time, which is very, very important. We cannot have a government that do not care about the well-being of its people. And as you said, rightly, Stanton, going to the people and now begging for votes because the second term is important and making promises as if you were never in power in the first place. We see how disorganized government have made the civil servants. We see how disorganized government has made many issues in Liberia, including using the budget as a political tool instead of a developmental tool. We see that. We see that the budget has been completely weaponized to become a political campaign football. We've seen that everywhere. These things are not new. So holding the government to the feet to the fire and telling Liberian people what it is imperative. And I'm sure that they already know that. Liberian people are not fools. They've survived 14 years of civil war. They survived hunger. They survived rain, sunshine. They've survived many, many issues, atrocities, and everything else. They can make their own judgment, and they are making that judgment towards Dr. Clarence Moniba, which is absolutely the case. So here is a clear indication of what is on the ground. The current CDC government lacks the electability to the point where the president himself is aware of it. It's in his body language. He's sleeping. He knows. It's in the body language of the people around him. They are disorganized. They know that. It amazes me how, I will say this, how one of the most astute individuals that I know, Eugene Nangwe, is going to manage a campaign when just recently, Samuel Toa asking him to share his mouth on national radio. I don't know how they are going to manage that level of embarrassment because Liberian people do have memory. They have not forgotten that yet. So this is the level of disruption, confusion, and small-mindedness that we have to deal with. Unfortunately, Liberian people cannot deal with that anymore. So that's the reason why they have now turning
Thank you.
to Dr. Moniba.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maxwell. Mr. Ali?
Thank you. You know, yesterday, when President Weah decided to do his walk under the rain, and he was sweating profusely under that rain, something clicked to me. But I was a little confused about what was going on until I saw the video from down waterside. When the market women chanted, our building ratting, our building leaking, our building ratting, our building leaking. Because President Weah, every time we talk about these issues, the problems that confront the country, the things the market people are going through everywhere. He comes on the radio, not on the radio, he goes to his church and say we are lying. I guess yesterday was the first time he decided to pass down waterside and reality down on him. And so they had thousands of police people. Well, I'm just exaggerating now, but they had riot police protecting there. And he was walking fast to pass that place because it was very uncomfortable for him. They've been lying to him consistently. And he has buried himself in the lies. He has come to believe that he is the best president this country has ever produced. President Weah, it is under your regime that we have got a proliferation of ghettos. It is only under your regime that an aide to the president will organize football tournament for ghetto and give them money. In serious countries, people are fighting to eliminate ghettos. In our country, the government is fighting to build ghettos so that they can have tournaments for them, because he says that is his base. President Weah, the other time we told you that thing you've been talking about, roads, that you now built almost 1,000 kilometers of road. Roland Gidding did the research and disputed it and told you and Mr. Tue that what you've built is around 230 some more kilometers. Gentlemen, day before yesterday, Public Work published the kilometers of roads that they've built. They put it at around 300 plus kilometers. Of that 300 plus kilometers, we are disputing 80 kilometers. They did not construct the road from Harper to Kalokin. That road was constructed, it was started, constructed, and completed by the Unity Party. The CDC cannot. And so what they did, they validated, because they are spokesmen.
Mo, I'm sorry, we have to give you that 3 minutes max. Please consider us. You got 10 more seconds to wrap up, please.
So they are basing their entire campaign on lies. But I'll tell you this: hunger cannot be intellectualized. Right now, the people hungry, they're running behind them for money. They are giving $3,000 to each of their district candidates. They are giving them 100 bags of rice and 1 cow. They are giving each district more than 4 or 5 motorbikes. They procure more than 100 vehicles. Why? The Drug Enforcement Agency, the police, the army, they got no logistics to fight crime in this country. That is the country Josh Weah has brought upon us.
Thank you very much, Bro Ali. Let me bring in Abula. Abula, my mate.
One thing I took from George Weah's visitation, Jerry reconfirmed that he's an unrepentant delinquent. Listening to President Weah brag about paying civil servant salary. There is one thing to have a challenge as a leader or as a father in a home and acknowledge to your children that yes, this is a problem, we're trying to fix it. And it's another thing to be a father in the home and do not even know that your children are not in school. The last part of what I say is what is happening with George Weah. He leads a country and does not even know the challenges of the people that work for him. I'm not talking about ordinary citizens living their own life. Civil servants that work with him. We have our friends working in the banks. Some of them working in government telling us that they've not taken pay. They're asking for credit from other people. Say, please credit me, we'll take pay, I will give you. People in the bank are confirming that the government have not transferred your fund. President Weah stood yesterday and bragged that opposition lying. We are paying civil servants. Now, when you do that, it put the civil servants and people who you have not paid under the mindset that they doesn't care about us. Or he has paid us and somebody has eaten the money and he doesn't care about taking action. So I conclude that Weah is an absentee leader. He has outsourced his responsibility as president for other people to execute, and he just enjoys himself. We cannot continue like this. Going to the future, we need an energetic, experienced, educated, knowledgeable leader who can sit and make his own decision or make her own decision. Who can make decision and make follow-ups to determine whether things are going the way he expects or she expects it to go. President is making no follow-up. His preoccupation is who is celebrating him, who is adoring him, who is singing praises to him. But sadly today, we saw people who sang praises to Weah yesterday, jeering him on the street. I want to close on that note.
Thank you, my man. Let me welcome Cole to the show. Good to have you, Cole. Dr. Richardson, can you come in, please? And we'll go to our brother Gibson.
So today I read a quote from We Are in Front Page Africa. It said that I did nothing for you and you voted for me. So I'm going to start with the first part of that quote. I did nothing for you and you voted for me. I agree with, President Weah. He did nothing for the Liberian people. Yes, they did vote for you because they kind of connected to you. But while you were there, you didn't do anything for them. You said that you are going to improve the economy, you're going to improve infrastructure, you're going to improve the hospital. We know that all didn't come through because a recent report said that foreign investors are not coming to our country. And if foreign investors do not come to the country, we will not get jobs. And if people don't get jobs, they don't address the bread and butter issue, which is to put food on the table and send their children to school. You say you are going to improve the infrastructure. I'm still waiting for RIA Road to be effectively built. $114 million down the drain. It is still questionable as to who is actually the contractor involved in the RIA. Was it one of the bribing situations that we know that have occurred numerous times in this government or not? You said you are going to improve education and healthcare system. I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about these things today: education, healthcare, infrastructure, and the economy. But you built a hospital in Lofa when there was already another hospital there that don't even have medication beds or advanced technology to help the people there. I don't understand the essence of doing that. My thinking is that I believe you're assessing all of the hospitals in Liberia, and medicating them would have been so much better than just building new hospitals everywhere. To end, I will tell you that one of the strengths that Mr. Cummings brings to Liberia is that he knows how to negotiate. The current government that we have right now, they will just accept whatever anybody gives to them. If the Emirates Hospital say we'll give you a hospital, or the United Emirates say we'll give you a hospital, they'll just take it. Anybody can throw anything at them. Mr. Cummings knows how to negotiate. He's going to present the strength of Liberia to anyone, investors coming to the country. He's going to make sure that he speaks to people and show the people that our country is valuable, that you can't just come and just give us anything or use our law in any kind of way and make us spectator in our economy. So I'm sure we're going to be talking about a lot more today. That's all I have for now.
Thank you very much, Dr. Richardson. Our brother Gibson Jerry.
Thank you very much. Some time ago, at 7:25 a.m., that fateful morning of April 3rd, 2018, a nurse appeared at a JFK for emergency treatment and died right while she was waiting for emergency treatment. Since then, the situation at a JFK have become troubling. Even recently, nurses at the JFK have begun to strike. Health workers strike, something that is not common in our Liberian history, continue to happen over and over as a result of abandonment of the health system. The primary healthcare, tertiary healthcare have been abandoned in this government. The only person that benefits is George Weah because he has the money to go outside the country to be able to to treat his family members and to treat himself. I am so concerned. When we talk about George Weah going out there in the rain on Monday, the rain beating. On Tuesday, today again, it's gloomy outside. And the ice-skinned Liberian people gave me a vote for the second time. The question that remains, in your first term, we have almost 12 to 13 people killed and no investigation conducted. The president does not care that people are being killed for no reason, people who work for the government, people who provide services, valuable services for the government, auditors killed. And the government of Liberia under George Weah watch is unable to unleash the national security system apparatuses to go after the killers of these people. And I don't know how can he look in the faces of Barton's family and say, go and campaign for me, vote for me. How can he look in the face of his own former public works minister and say, y'all vote for me? Sometimes, some people, they lack the conscience. The Bible says people who lose their conscience, they are giving unto a reprobate mind, considering evil as good and good as evil. George Weah is unto a reprobate mind that he has forgotten. The trust the people gave him, you were nothing. He came to the people, gave me your vote. The people say, okay, it looked like he's like, also, let's give him our vote. And all you do is to deliver bad services. And you come back to say, give me your vote again. For what? So more auditors can die? So you can build more units for yourself? So your wife can go and build mansions in your country? I saw the picture they put, giving it. I hope it is true. the picture they showed the other day that her brother and herself built in her homeland. And I look at her, I'm like, really? So Joshua doesn't deserve a second term. Anyone in the opposition is far better than Joshua getting a second term. Another 6 years of Joshua, some of us might stay here for a longer time because we're trying to retire, doing everything as possible as we can to go and live back home. But there's another 6 years of Joshua probably going to stay long here. But I'm telling you, to those of you got your voter registration card in your pocket, let me tell you something. You voted for him, he spit in your face. You voted for him, he doesn't care about your future. You voted for him, he told the international community, y'all give me some money, let me help these people. They gave him the first 2-3 million, he ate it. You voted for him and he dashed your hope. That hope for change that he was talking about was all about him, his clique around him.
Thank you.
And nobody else.
Thank you very much, our brother Gibson. Thank you very much, Gibson. And before that, I'm going to bring in Eugene, and I'm going to bring in our sister Kowu. Honorable Eugene, it's your turn to speak for 3 minutes. We have a lot of videos and pictures to show. The question we are asking you today, 2 days in a row, personally, we went out there begging you to vote for him. Begging you, district number 8, district number 14, whatever he finds himself, begging you to vote for him. Eugene, talk to me, please, and talk to Liberians out there today.
Well, again, thank you, Stanton. Let me say to Liberians out there, are you happy with the amount of drugs you're looking at in your country today? Let's assume they found drugs in Ellen car, $500 worth of drugs, as they say they found it in her security car. No other country has produced $100 million worth of drugs, and then 6 weeks later produce another $40 million worth of drugs. Your children are turning into zombies. President, we are brag of paying civil servants. The man was making $150. Bag of rice was $13, gasoline $3.50. He could pay his children tuition at the university. You cut his money down to $45. How is it that you will not be able to pay it? You brag of paying their tuition, but a year of study at the University of Liberia is less than 100 US. Because if you do 5 courses in this semester, 1 course is $5 US. 5 courses is what? 25. 3 semesters, if we put it that way, would be $75. So $100 a year, and the person making $150 a month, 10 months would be $1,500. 1 year, the person will make $1,800. You think they can pay their children's school fee with $100 for the $1,800 and be left with $1,700 as change? But what you did, you pay them $45, which means 10 months will be $450. The $90 you added there will be $540. How can you pay a human being $540 a year and tell him, say, you're spending $75 for a child for 1 year, you expect the person to be satisfied and happy? You're out of your mind. The former President Tubman's son got killed right in front of you as president. The former President Tubman's son got killed right in front of you as president. We're not even talking about the 3 little boys who worked in your own yard. One of the boys was the one who assembled your gene machines. We're not talking about Precious Cooper. We're not even talking about the auditors. Even the man who married you so you can't get shot by somebody. Somebody had to shoot him for point blank range in his head 3 times. Someone who took care of your life for 4 years was executed. Police officer went on duty in Grand Gita killed. We can go on and on and on. But the truth of the matter here, you gave $11 million according to you so that rice price can reduce. But instead of $13, the rice price went to $22. You gave $30 million to buy beans, oil, and rice during the pandemic to feed the people, but no one can account for the $30 million. All people who work for a company like Firestone since 1926, these people work sometimes 30 years, 40 years, and the company say, you are retired, we give you $82 a month. You told them to pass it through Social Security for the government. And today, every Firestone retiree, instead of receiving $82, is receiving $18 because you are paying them $19 and you're taking $1 for tax. What kind of wickedness is that? Yesterday, you turned over a Sierra Leonean who said, please don't send me, they will kill me. Because you're bloodthirsty. So you turn him over to your friend because we are having elections so that if you have the chance to flee, you can go in a saloon. Why? Now we operate a country where you accuse a 78-year-old man of sleeping. But you, the 56-year-old young guy, who sleeps in the middle of a campaign rally. Come on now, Kou. The place is packed, people making noise, music playing. You are sleeping. You are napping on kush. I'm upset today. People have never heard me talk like this. But I know what Marabio can do, and I know what this man did. Selfishness for his own burying. He took a human being and sacrificed him against our law. And nobody can question him because the fear of dying in the night. But your days are numbered in that office. The office that you don't go to anyways. Every project that you have started, we got yet to complete them fully. You build hospital, no doctors. You send doctors abroad. When I was there, I announced it. They went to do residences and they both said it doctor thing again. But since the 26th doctor went, they can't come back. Because they fear you. Look at how many technocrats we've lost. The Deputy Minister for Operation and Defense died. The Assistant Minister, the wife of Pearson, died. The NSA Deputy JB, Jones Blambo, died. You go to Youth and Sports, John Sunday, died. You go to, I just can name them again and again. Because you operate a clique that must eliminate their friends at whatever minute they get when they are within your circle. My friend, think about how many professionals have died. I don't want to talk about my Putu Nipa. I don't want to talk about the other people. But again, we are saying to Liberians, this is not about a celebrity. This man does not understand what he's doing, period. I close on this note by saying, the Liberian people voted for change. You maintain the Internal Affairs Minister. They voted for change. You maintain the National Security Agency boss. They voted for change. You put Ellison to Foreign Affairs. They voted for change. You maintain Eugene Nangbe. They voted for change. Look, we have two candidates in the race. You have a choice. It's either JMB or you're going down. So you can choose to go with UP up or you can choose to follow other people down. The choice is yours to make.
Thank you, Fagon. Let's bring in our sister, Kou. Go ahead, talk to us.
Thank you, CEO, and good evening to all of my co-panelists. Good evening to our many listeners out there. It's good to be back again. I did follow the show. I saw the pictures as well. And I saw President Weah out there asking for a second-term mandate, asking the people for votes under the rain. And what do you see? You do not see a man who is confident in having a first-round victory. That's not what the picture depicts. It shows the last stroke of a dying horse. It shows how desperate he is to hold on to power. It shows the fear of the opposition, even though people say the opposition is divided. But he knows that he's up against the resolve of the Liberian people. And what they have resolved is to vote Honorable Joseph Yuma Boyka as the next president of their country. That is a good decision because with an experienced leadership will come the real change in all aspects of our government. My panelists before me have listed all of those things that have been happening. Yesterday, we talked especially about the guy seeking asylum who was sent back. I did do some research on that, and Stanton, I would like for us to check with Diamond of Spoon Network, because Diamond covered the hearing, the extradition hearing on that man. There was a hearing heard, but what puzzles me is that the Ministry of Information, I know Lechehu Rainey is a very smart guy. And if the court had given them the permission, that would have been captured in the Mika release. Because Lechehu is a very smart guy, he would have covered the government well. So the fact that the Mika release did not cover the verdict of the court, it means that either the will of the court was evaded, or the process was stopped, or it happened even before the court came up with a decision or an advice on the matter. So we would like to know what exactly it is that the court said in regards to turning someone out, an ECOWAS citizen who was not formally indicted, who cried for his life against the civil society wish. So it is an important issue. We must check with our court to know what the court said. There was a hearing from what I followed up on. So all of these things are happening. You got Lester Tierney coming up, and he's accusing McGill of some serious things, the lives of these auditors. All of these are happening at once. What I do know is we are here to encourage our people to vote number 2 for Joseph Yima Boyka, for stable leadership, for an experienced leadership. You know, I like to say again and again, one reason people see so much of what Tolbert was able to do in a short space of time. They say the short time this man was president, he did so much. But what people don't know is that very Tolbert was vice president for 19 years on William Fakanara Chadra Totman, which gave him the experience that on the day of becoming president, he was able to start off. So with the 12 years of experience as vice president, many other years of experience in public service, I believe that when Honorable Joseph Yima Boyka is elected, we will start to see that change. And like Fakon said, how much change is it? You have a lot of people who served, who did not serve, well served in this government. You have a cabinet for 6 years that is unchanged. Let's look at the economy. I hear everybody here talking about the economy, talking about tuition, talking about inflation, talking about how things are hard. But listen, we talk so much about how much for this is the first government I know since Tolbert, I think, that finance minister was retained for 6 years, 5 to 6 years. But not only that, I want you to look beyond this. No member of the fiscal team was changed, not just the finance minister. That is to show that the president is happy with the performance of the economy. No member, not a junior minister, assistant minister, all the members of the fiscal team remain unchanged for all these years. So there was no effort. So I want us to go out there and vote number 2, who will hold his cabinet responsible for what they are doing, vice versa. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you again. We'll circle back to Fagon. I saw your finger up though. You had a question before we go to Mo Ali.
I had a comment with respect to what Kou said. I followed that. It was an investigation that was done at the court. You and I know what the Constitution says when it comes to the law, which of course, for as in the case of capital offense or whatever, that man was entitled to counsel. He had the right to face his accusers. He had the right to present witnesses in court. He had the right to due process. All of those things. From the moment they made a cash, straight in a room over there, they did it like it was some immigration hearing, not a court. An extradition hearing, you guys who live in America, you know how it is. You know how long it takes.
It's not an overnight process. Seriously, it's not.
Thank you.
It's
so
not.
I don't want to waste your time.
We shouldn't. We shouldn't just go there. But again,
to add to Even to
And I
add to
would say this.
Fagon, there is no extradition treaty between Liberia and Sierra Leone. The last extradition treaty between Liberia and Sierra Leone was annulled in 1962. There has not been a renewal of the extradition treaty. So if you don't have a treaty, how can you honor an extradition? This is just a travesty of justice. When Liberia was refused, when Liberia made a request to extradite Costa to Liberia, and the Sierra Leone government said, no, we can't do
Yes.
it. The man
Okay.
has not committed crime in his country against us.
All right, folks. Thank you, Gibson. Thank you very much, our brother Gibson. Let's just move out. I'm going to speak for 2 minutes, real quick, not 3. I just want to show something to our fellow Liberians. And I just hope that you understand, those of you that are watching us and you listen, I want to send a special shout out to Prince Moyi. Prince Moyi made his radio station in Bon County available. A special shout out to Prince Yedu Johnson. He made his radio station available to this program. All the relays going on. And who's the next gentleman that you were talking about, Mo Ali? I'm sorry, from my Gibi Mo. If you care to announce his name, that's fine.
Honorable Ben Fofana. Ben Fofana has offered his station, Radio Magibi. Damo will go there to do the setup. They will begin to read the
tomorrow,
show.
and also will be by way of Steve Zago radio station. So Dama is all on the roll. The relay will take place. We're doing it county by county, folks. We'll be in the people here. As long as the court system move on, again, they will settle the problem. Listen, nobody going to hurt our head. We get a lot to worry about, but the people will hear the message. Let me say this to you all today. Why you Liberians, you that listen to us today, why President we are under the rain? This man, he's so tired. He's sleeping. Why is he under the rain asking you for your vote? No, just imagine. If you're watching the show tonight, just imagine. Just look at President Weah. And I want you to imagine your daughter, your son, your father, your mother. He never spoke about any of these people. The only thing that came to President Weah's mind was that they were doing boyfriend and girlfriend, Gifty Lama and Albert Peters. But the rest of them, he cared less. Imagine your family member die cold blood death. Imagine the president of the Republic of Liberia refused. He didn't visit a family. These people work for President George Manneh. They work under him. They work for him. They work for the Liberian people. But he treated them like dogs. He said nothing. Imagine. When people were complaining, when people were crying, President Weah went to a Jamaican resort enjoying himself. Whether he was drinking the Hennessy XO or whether he had turned this thing to canned juice, he was drinking something. Let's just be truthful to ourselves. Anything you want to say about Princess Cooper, but the fact that the president refused to speak about this youth, this young woman, she was in her 20s, 30, you can consider it no problem, but she died. She died in the compound of a Lebanese national. The president refused to speak about her. And today, President, we are out there begging for your vote. And after it was all said and done, when the president took over, the first thing that was in his mind, these are his greatest legacy and achievement. Hey, man, my fellow Liberians. You see that? Those are the 10 presidents we are going to turn over to his children and grandchildren. The first thing on the president's mind, after they took the money that Senator cannot talk about today and say they give it to money changer, the 16 billion, whatsoever that was left by Madame Salif in the coffer, President Weah started building. That today, if this president want to go out there to beg for your vote, that today, this president going to go up there and beg for your vote. Hey, man, I want you to look at these buildings. I want you to understand how the president deceived the Liberian people. So when we say this thing, people say, oh, come on, man. Come on, folks. It's election season. We got to say as it is. But today, the president was so proud. He was so happy. I'm about to show you this thing, and I will rest because I said I would talk for honor two. Hey, might as well. Don't look at me. I will soon finish, might as well. But today, right? Today, this is what happened. The president is right in the mud, in the filth. The president yesterday going through Radical Market, district number 8. You see what you see there? That poo-poo water, plain blank. The president is driving in poo-poo water, telling you, say, I want your vote. Can you ask him his promise that he made to make Radical Market the best market ever in the world? Can you ask him? Can you ask him why he would drive in poo-poo water? Look at that filth. Look. Why would you guys want us to sit here and just sugarcoat this thing? I get mad when people say that and say, oh yeah, it's all right. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. The president went to beg the people for the vote, but he decided to travel in poo-poo water to go beg the same people that gave him the chance. The president made the mindset, the decision. I would drive through Waterside. I would drive through Radical Market. I would drive in the filth, in the poo-poo. And I will go beg the people because Liberian people like me. Fagon, please don't interrupt me. And I see you shaking in your chair. Don't do that yet, Fagon.
I shake it because of the damn Akara's great on a district there for 2 times.
That's what I'm coming to.
And he can
and at the end of the day, you want us to sit on this show and believe that President George Manneh we have deserved the vote of the Liberian people. How can a president hire himself from Liberia, call a Chemlin from Liberians, and now he backing you? Is he ready to speak? No. I will soon finish with this. Can you ask President Ware if he's ready to speak? Can he go and face the Liberian people and have some serious debate? Is this president ready to speak to the Liberian people? Is he ready?
Debate where?
Is he ready? No. Maybe they said the man now get all of the Chemlin war. Maybe he's ready to speak. Is this president ready to speak? Can you ask him what happened to Bati Yenswa? Can he answer you? Can you ask him why the people living in such a bad condition? Look at where President George Manneh went. Look at that place they call Sonny went. Hey, Mo Ali, why you send me the picture, Mo Ali? Don't send me the picture, man. It won't make me cry. Look at these things. The president was there asking the people for their vote. Look at the garbage center that Jefferson Koji refused. He said, that's not my work to clean garbage. And after they took the money from Western Cluster, including a friend Edwin Melvin Snow, look what happened to the people road. You think the people in Bumby want to see President Weah? Look what happened to the people roads. Imagine, but the president saying he deserves your vote. I yield my time to be back with more pictures and videos because it is important for us to show them, for us to remind Mr. President, when these people were hungry, when women were jumping over the fence, and you promised Liberian that you make $11 million available. How much is the price of rice today? Mo Ali, please take it away. Might as well you will come in next, Fagon, and we'll do the cycle again. Talk to us, Mo Ali.
You really firing tonight. But you know, in this country, we will talk the politics, but the reality will set in. And when that reality sets in, that's when we begin to regret. At this point in time, we all will come together on this show and we'll talk. And I agree with Gibson Giroux for once. I'll go for any candidate in the opposition to George Weah. Because for me, it's a no-go zone for a man not to understand the problems, the challenges the country is faced with. It's for him not to know how to solve those problems, and he will never find solution. And as you are talking about rules, Stanton, what came to my mind is the RIA rule. Even with our 2 lanes that were there, very narrow, dark, you take between 30 to 35, 40 minutes to reach to the airport. They say they come in Bay Road, they not get no money for road. I mean, that road now spoil when you take a small car, you drive from here to RIA. First of all, you're driving for more than 1 hour, 30 minutes. By the time you go, you come back. You got to carry your car to the garage to do undercarrier work on it. They spoil the whole road all over. What kind of road they building? They go way to RIA, they do a long stretch. They chakra the whole quota there. They pour crush rack. They crush rack and get plenty pothole. You can't run on it. Then they come on the side from ERWA side. But let me tell you the worst part. Cape Town, when you are here, you are not able to pass to where they placed into ERWA Junction, right? They open ERWA Junction and you know looking. Just the southeastern road. The whole Molly Road now with plenty pothole, mud. They chakra the whole in front of the LRA there, Stanton. When you here, you saw LRA, that whole place now just the southeastern road. Nothing is there. They bust the quota. They know if they in the first place. How do you bust quota during the rainy season? And you know it's almost impossible to lay quota during rainy season. They bust that whole road. They want the building from ERWA Junction to Railway. They didn't even finish with AA. They made that whole place bad of people. The only cars that passing there now that taxi driver them. That's what they're doing. They're creating more burden on the people. Increasing transportation fare from Morovia or from Rail Light or from ERWA Junction to RIA. When people go in this time, when people come from the States because they are afraid to drive on that road, they're forced to sleep in an expensive Farmington hotel. Then they passing around, they say they're building road. You chakra everything. Koji sits over there at the Morovia City Corporation, MCC. The message in city mayor. Morovia is nothing like you knew it before. This time debt everywhere. Everywhere is debt. Because the men not care. All that concerns the men is to seize control over all of the ghetto and the Baba men. The men control all of them. In the night, you go over there. Koji is there with all the generals from the ghetto. That's what they do. They don't care about the people. Since George Weah at the beginning of his term, they went to chakra the Logantown Road, that Bush Road Island Road from Vartown to Douala. They say they're facing it. That one, you know that they give up on it now. They ain't facing it no more. They just spot that whole road there now. People got to be passing, dodging the road. When people coming from town, you know what they can do this time? They can pass through Claratown. They go take it through Jamaica Road. But guess what now? All the BB trucks passing on that late Jamaica Community Road, that Jamaica Road, that Community Road, they spotted too. Because those roads were built for smaller cars. They are community roads. That one too spoil. So when you enter that Jamaica Road, the traffic sometimes you spend more than 1-2 hours there. The guy knows how to destroy. he knows nothing about building. And I'm talking the road thing because he said biomedicine. And I agree to the biomedicine, but the biomedicine is not to kill barrow, it's to create more barrow. That's what President Weah has done.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you. Let's just bring in this thing about Maxwell. Talk to us, Maxwell.
Stanton. I mean, you are firing on all cylinders tonight, which is absolutely commendable. But let's come to the crux of the matter. All of these failures surrounds President Weah's economic failure. We know fully well that the President Weah harmonization plan was a massive failure, to the point right now people don't even talk about it as if it has never even existed in the first place. But this is the key. Dr. Moniba has been very, very clear on his position. Recently, he began to think more and more and deeply about his economic and recovery plan. Key to his economic and recovery plan is civil servant payment. Now, people think about it. Why is civil servant payment is an absolute key to Dr. Moniba's economic recovery plan? Simply because once you are paying civil servant, which is the largest employing unit in Liberia, it encourages bank lending. The reason why bank not lending money to people in the country is because civil servant can't take pay. And the reason why SMEs cannot get money back because banks are not lending money to them, because civil servants are not buying because they're not taking pay on time. Making sure under his recovery plan that civil servant takes pay on time and an increase in civil servant salary is critical. Not only that, subset to that, as you're talking about, because there are many things within his economic plan. And just a few of it I'm trying to just throw out right now so people can understand his mindset and what he intends to move with it. Is this housing development and road development. We know fully well that the UNDP, United Nations, has said that 50.9% of Liberia is poor. They are in poverty. We're not even talking about multi-dimensional poverty. We're just talking about poverty overall. And we know fully well that in the SDGs, they're talking about housing, water, and sanitation. So paying civil servants will allow them to be able to afford homes. The reason why people cannot afford homes right now is because people can take pay. So making sure that civil servant salary is paid and upgraded is crucial for them to have a good living standard. Also, to his plan, he has made sure that he incorporates anti-corruption mechanism in his economic recovery plan. Because what anti-corruption does is that it prevents the leakages of monies in the budget and in government spending. Knowing fully well that he is very, very keen on making sure that institutions in Liberia have a reasonable purchasing policy all over, across the board, both for civil servant and government officials. Asset declaration, key to his plan, because all of these things stop leakages in government. Making sure that the declaration are on time and within a period of 2 years. Every time in the period of 2 years, every year. Making sure that these things are done because it is significant to the economic recovery of Liberia. Also, the Clarence Moniba is very, very sensitive to the issue of food security. So as a result of that, he's very focused on making sure that we have a stable food price in our market, especially for our staple food, rice. While at the same time, in tandem, making sure that we support rigorously the agriculture sector. 4 folds, all of government, 4 folds, going straight to agriculture to increase and promote and sustain our food security. The Clarence Moniba is reasonably thinking about this thing every day, and he wants Liberian people to understand that is the direction of his presidency. Reducing Liberia's susceptibility to commodity price. We know fully well that every year Liberia has to be susceptible to commodity price. When iron ore price go up, we'll get small money. When it go down, we'll get small money. We'll get money. Making sure Liberia reduces that susceptibility. And how does he intend to do that? By promoting manufacturing of local goods and services in Liberia, which then creates employment. Making sure that we promote tourism, which then increases our importance in our service sector, and also encouraging the fishery sector to move forward and our marine sector to move forward. These are key issues to his economic recovery so that he cannot drive in poo-poo water like the current president. Making sure that we have a good pension plan, which is a safety net for so many people. Right now, because we have a huge young generation, it means that we have a growing old generation. Where will they stay? Where will they be? How will they sustain themselves? Dr. Clarence Moniba is very focused on making sure that we upgrade, and not only upgrade, internationalize our pension plan so that somebody who will leave from here and go visit their relative in let's say America can still have access to that pension plan in Liberia and be able to withdraw on it. Second to this is the budget management plan, which is absolutely crucial because it is a national security mechanism for Liberia. He's so focused on that. We've seen over the years people use our budget as a political tool. Dr. Clarence Moniba intends to use our budget as a developmental tool, targeting key areas of the government, especially social areas, making sure that those social areas like hospitals, childcare, education are fully funded to the letter. Not only that, we have to have fiscal responsibility. Dr. Moniba is absolutely bird's eye on debt management. So I just want to put some of these things out there so Liberian people understand that
again, we appreciate. Again, it's true. We do appreciate you. Let's go to our brother Gibson. Gibson Jeru.
You know, I'm one. When you show me these poo-poo water, I like to speak it in Liberia way. When you show me these poo-poo water, these garbage, these dirt, all these places. A president, look at this place. Look at what is on the screen. A president who says he's going to better the life of the people is unable to clean up the city. So I want to ask people who are in the president camp, all the money that is steal, they're not able to put small money in the garbage collection, the cleanliness of the city. They just eat and eat and eat all the way to the elbow, and they are not able to put at least some money into the system. Look at the airport, for example. Let me bring the airport issue in. The president, almost he himself, his life was at risk at one point. That the Rapid International Airport today, we should have Delta Airline. We should have different airlines going to Liberia. Today, we are stuck with one or two airlines. Air Maroc, SM Brussels. They are getting more and more expensive because the government had neglected the lighting at the airport. Solar panel, want to buy generator, if you never want to buy fuel, put solar panel there. Me, I'm on a solution there. I always tell people, solar panel. You put solar panel, you don't have to worry about anything but the government had neglected. One thing I can guarantee you, when George Weah government is over, all those who aided and abetted, the stealing, the ripping off, the pillaging, the siphoning of the Liberian coffers, they are going to account. No matter how long it takes, they can eat now. We have from now to October to determine what's going to happen. Because the man that I support, everyone knows he is a man of rule of law. We are going to focus on rule of law. We are not going to have a situation in the country where 8 auditors will be killed and the police and the national security apparatus will not even arrest a single person for questioning or for even to serve as a suspect. 8 auditors, 8 government employees will be arrested and will be killed in the country, and the president will now even address the nation. He will not even tell the people how his government is so aggrieved about the killing of these people, and he will term it as girlfriend and boyfriend activities. But I can tell you for sure, for those of you who have your ballot in your hands, which is your voting card, voting for George Weah will be a mistake. If you don't think it's a mistake, if you think your life is better off in the last 6 years, those of you, when I'm passing, I can see is struggling. When I'm passing Moravia, I see is struggling. If you put your vote behind George Weah again, it means you acquiesce. It means you agree to suffer. You agree that George Weah should suffer you more and more, but George Weah not suffering. He building his mansions. He changing all his mansions. He building more units. He enriching himself. His wife is enriching himself, and they are living on the Liberian sweat. But if you put your vote in, let me suggest something for you. If you want to vote someone who will make sure that when your vote will be counted and respected, vote Councillor Gonglo, because he will make sure that all of those people who are stealing now, they will be brought to book, and you will be happy that corruption for the first time in your nation's history will be fought against vigorously.
Thank you very much, my dear Gibson. Thank you very much. Honorable Fagon, before I bring you in, you know, when Mo Ali make mention about the role and East International, you see, I just can't understand. I want folks to look at this picture. That's at the time Robert International Highway. You know, when we're saying this thing, people think it's just a joke. Imagine somebody's car going straight into that well. And that's a government. Yeah, that's a government car. And every day we should remind you guys that this man that call himself biomedicine, every day we should remind you guys, how can the president be so complacent? He okay to drive in the poo-poo water just to go ask you for vote after you gave him 6 years? Imagine this. Look at this. Akaris Gray refused to help the people of District Number 8. President George Minor, we are everything he wanted from Akaris Gray. Akaris Gray gave it to him. If I'm going to talk to me, because I'll wait for my time. I'll wait for my time if I'm going to talk to me.
You know, this is one day people don't see me smiling on the show because I know that George Weah sent a living human being to be tortured and eventually killed in Sierra Leone. And he will hold himself responsible for that. That's something he might go on trial for. I'm not sure of where, but it's not right. And having said that, Kowut said President Talbot served for 19 years as vice president. This man, in addition to almost 42 years of service, did 12 as vice president. Joseph Numa Boakai came up with the idea of IREST, which has to do with agriculture. Liberians are looking for a president that is going to have the experience and, according to Madam Salif again, the ability to do the job. He's the one fit for the job. We're not going to argue what happened along the way. But let's look at his track record. We spent over $200 million a year on the importation of rice, which is our staple food. We gave $11 million to Lebanese, Fuller, and other business people to subsidize.
I beg you, let me hold you there. Let me show you what you're talking about importation of rice. I beg you, Fagon.
You scared?
To find that video, continue talking when the people were running up and down for rice. I want to find that video to remind our people, but go ahead.
In addition to the $200 million, we tried to subsidize the importation of rice so as to cut the cost for our people. and they are robbed in broad daylight. So I look at George Weah, and Honorable Barker, Ambassador Barker says, arrest. So we start with agriculture. The other people needed 3 million, between 3 to 6 million, to institute mechanized farming that will increase production of rice, our staple food in the country. You gave business people 11 million to subsidize rice to be sold for 13. It ended up being sold for $22. And they took the whole 11 million, cannot be found. You gave 30 million to WFP to bring food during the pandemic, a total of $41 million. Whereas we can only use $20 million of that money to be able to export rice to our neighbors and other parts of the world. Are we talking agriculture in the context of his finances? No. We're talking about a man who knows how to grow the products, who President Talbot commended for growing rice and increasing the yield. President William R. Talbot. So we got no question with any candidate in the race when it comes to agriculture. Now, let's look at roads. As vice president under Madam Sirleaf, he was able in that government to work with Madam Sirleaf to pave roads that we see today with our bare eyes. They borrowed $800 million. And today we see the road from Monrovia to Ganta, from Monrovia to Buchanan. They fixed the road from Monrovia to Bummy. We see those roads. Our friends King, they did not borrow $800 million. They borrowed double, which now puts them at about $1.6 billion or $1.5 billion. And they still got yet to show us one stretch of road for the money that they borrowed. So his records are there when it comes to road. Let's look at education. Today, you say you pay university students fees. They are graduating, they don't even have jobs. And most of them that are graduating don't know what the future look like. But at the end of the day, they do not have buses, they do not have the buildings, they do not have even the chalk. I know I'm friends with Lester Tenney. Lester Tenney wanted these boards from America that uses the erase white. Could not get them for his whole department. Show the university campus now. Let's look at modern university campus. Look at the one we got. You say you're paying people school fee and robbing their parents of $1,200 just to give the children $75. But look at our students. You say you're paying YX fees. You say this going year, how did our students perform? Let's look at sanitation. We're talking here about IREX. We're done with agriculture. We're done with roads. We're done with education. Let's look at sanitation. The Akaros Gray going on the university campus to beat children and behaving like dogs. He carried people to the embassy and they beat Water Sisulu. All that energy, if he could only use it to clean the poo-poo water for in a district and to go and drain the Sony way and take out all the plastic and the stuff and allow for education. This is Akaros Great District. We talk about sanitation. A healthy community will bring about healthy group of citizens. Healthy group of citizens will bring about production in every field of life. It will help our human resource capacity to develop in that our people are healthy and they're able to work. This is Akara Gray's mess that he walked the president through. And that's why the president even sleeping. We talk about tourism. Go up to Bomi. Go there, go see our cultural sites. Look at Patawi. Go to the Sapo National Park. Do you know you got more than 300 Chinese in the Sapo National Forest looking for pangoli? One pangoli is 1,500. You can Google it now. Don't say if I'm going to say. One pangoli is 1,500 in China. You say, why you call it pangoli? That is bear. That thing we call ants bear with a scale on it. Okay? They're selling it. They're taking it out of our forests. But most importantly, when he calls for equity for all Liberians, and I want to close on this note by citing my people in Bomi, Kitmau, and Bapulu. Was it fair to treat us like that? You took our iron ore and gave it to the people. They owe us 14 million. You waive it to them instead of making payment plans? Payment plans? Was it fair to us? They are taking from us $15 million every week. But look at what they are doing to our roads. You are seeing it on your screen. And you are doing best friend business? Look at the people of Kitmount. They are taking gold, G-O-L-D, gold. And what are washing the gold with? With the people of Kitmount water. And what are you using? Cyanide. And you wonder why the people in Kitmount are dying? Look at Bapolu. You put China Union there.
Thank you,
The Chinese
Pharaoh.
company is blasting and taking the rocks and taking the ore. But what are the people of Bapolu benefiting? I dare see if George Weah passes the first round, the Americans and others who say they are watching should watch carefully. Because if you cannot win Bapolu, you cannot win Cape Mount, and you cannot win Bomi, and you will not win Lofa, and you dare not carry your phony team to the Pella people in Bon County where you have not done zero thing for them. You cannot win Nimba, you know already. You will not win Monserrato. You will not win Magibi. You will not win the Basso Belt. What we are looking at now and what we're seeing is Grand Jita County that voted for him 2005, 2011, 2017. And the people of Grand Jita have challenged President Weah to show one thing he has done in the 6 years. And the whole Grand Jita will vote for him if he shows it. And I'm telling you, Stanton, he cannot show it. And so Grand Jita will fall to JMB. And I respect.
Thank you very much. Let's bring in Dr. Richardson and we'll finish up with our sister Cole on this matter. It's 6:23. Dr. Richardson, please.
While Mr. President Weah was on the campaign trail, he told the Liberian people that a leader needs to have a clear vision and a proven track record. I thought that was laughable because we can now today ask Mr. Weah, what is his vision for education and his proven track record? We know that he did say that public school will be free, but many Liberians are opting to send their children to private schools, which costs.
They're not even free, sir.
I know. Okay. So it's caused a lot of Liberians to send their children to private schools because of all of the added financial burden that the public school require of them. He failed education when we see that the classroom are overcrowded. He never even tried to find a way to do an inventory of the schools in different districts. A president like Mr. Cummings will make sure that he has hands-on experience working with the Minister of Education and the district education officers in Liberia. Every district has one. And in doing so, he's going to make sure that schools wouldn't be closed. A couple of weeks ago, we showed a district here in Bon County where the school was closed because there was not enough teachers to go to the school. Mr. President Weah has also not strengthened KRTTI and ZRTTI, the places that we used to have our teachers trained and trained very well during other days. But when was the last time you heard him talk about, KRTTI or allotting money to ZRTTI? That should have been part of his record, his proven track record. Mr. Weah also failed to realize that the education rooms and schools that our children go to learn in are not conducive. We've shown the schools to you many times. I wish, Stanton, that you had the school building that you could put some of the ones that we saw in the different counties. I think it was Ruragi one time. We saw that one. It's just not conducive for educating anybody. Many times our children go to school. There's no window. There's they sit on the seat on the floor. There's no benches. But yet and still, while he's campaigning, he would say, oh, he had a clear vision and also a proven track record. I've given you like 4 or 5 ways that he failed already. There's also a high teenage pregnancy in our schools these days. I've never heard him address that either. So today, I'm asking you to think about Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings knows that Liberian people are not resolved to vote for anybody. He knows that Liberians want everybody, all the presidential candidates, to make a case to them. And he will continue to make his case to the Liberians because he knows leadership in 1971, when President Tubman was a leader, is quite different from leadership in 2023. Leadership in Liberia at that time required managing a one-party state, a social one, social all state. Today, Liberia has multi-parties. That comes with a lot of challenges as to debate different rules and laws in the legislature that will pass on to the president. Mr. Cummings also know that in 1971, computers wasn't as prevalent as it is today. And so he knows that a president has to be very up to date and up to task and accustomed to using some of the technology today. And the good thing, as I said to you about Mr. Cummings, he's been in 2 systems. He knows what a typewriter looks like, and he knows what a computer equipped with Microsoft apps and WhatsApp apps and Messenger and Facebook and all of the other applications that you can think about today that is useful for running a government. Mr. Cummings, when it comes to education, which is very dear to his heart, he knows that education is the key of the foundation of a man. He wants to be very inclusive as he looks to improve our education system. Going to start from not just children going to school, early education, start from the children that are, the pregnant women, the children that are in the stomach of their mothers. Because we know that pregnant women need extra time, extra care, extra food in order to have a good baby. Because how you take care of yourself when you're pregnant affects your neurology when the baby is born, how that baby's going to start off life. If we tackle the problem, which is a healthcare issue, how when babies are born in Liberia, some of them are kept hostage in the hospital. Just imagine your mother, your sister having a child and having to stay in the hospital until somebody pays their bill. Mr. Cummings also is looking to be very inclusive, as I said to you, where he's going to, I'm coming, please allow me to finish, where he's going to work on elementary education. He's going to work on secondary education, high school, and then vocational, strengthen our vocational education if we have any at this point. I know we had the Bosco, which was very good at one point.
You have what?
The Bosco. Leave me alone,
The
please.
Bosco?
Yes.
The Bosco?
Please don't interrupt
No,
me.
no. I'm sorry. I don't know which school they call the Bosco.
Please don't interrupt
I'm
me.
sorry.
Anyway,
She said Don Bosco.
No, stop. Abula, stop. We can hear. Don't do that. Stop. But go ahead, Dr. Richardson.
No, the minister said, please don't interrupt me because you know you are coming to Bosco.
Anyway,
he's just going to take you off your track.
But most of the Richardson to Bosco is private, so we can't even give them the credit.
Thank you. Mr. Cummings is going to work on vocational.
Seriously? Who's that?
Sorry for prayers.
Kawu. I didn't know you're Muslim, Kawu.
And I mean you.
I don't want.
Oh, are you Mame? Okay. All right.
So, he's going to, make sure that these opportunities that Liberia has to offer will be offered to everyone, including those who need to go to vocational school, those who need to go to higher education, be it college or a master's degree program. So Mr. Cummings wants to make his case to you, and in the next coming days, he'll be coming to you to make his case to you and not take you for granted because you are Liberians and you have voted in ways that perhaps have not worked out for you. So at this point, I
Thank
submit.
you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Richardson. And you are quite correct. And I'm just trying to pull your legs. It's Don Bosco because
All
we grew up there, and it's not the Bosco. But thank you very much for making all
right.
those
Spell it
points
so
for
we can
Mr.
pronounce
Don.
it.
It's Don. It's not
Don.
De.
No,
Don.
D-O-M is Don. D-E is Dan. You
It's
want, you want
Don.
D-O-N
It's
is
Don
Don.
Bosco.
Yes, that's what I said,
Yeah,
Don
okay,
Bosco.
okay. All right, Dr. Richardson, you're right. Everybody
Thank
heard
you.
you. You're right. You're right.
Thank you.
You're right. Thank you very much. You had a good doctor. We're going to be quiet. Go ahead, Comrade Kowu.
Is it
The
my time to
Bosco
go?
Kowu. No, that Kowu, go ahead and you can come in.
Yeah,
Abula.
if Abula wants, if you didn't want to go to prayers, you can go
Go
first.
ahead. No, he didn't say he want to go to prayer.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
don't
No,
don't push
I
the man.
just didn't understand. I was just trying to be considerate. I didn't understand. But yes,
Go
we.
ahead, Sister De Bosco. Go ahead.
Oh well, Stanton man. I just want to say, in line with what everyone else is saying, that there is a need for a change, and that change is best. It should be best delivered through the Honorable Joseph Yima Boyka. I know there are other candidates out there, other opposition candidates. Are they fine candidates as well? Yes. But when we talk about the experience that this statesman brings to the table, and is worth applauding. It's something our people can tap into at this crucial moment. This is a man who's coming to reconcile our much divided country, bring our people together, and start to build things. He concerned with not just our education, but the decline in the number of girls in school. He wants to ensure that we have that free and compulsory education, not just saying it's free and the requirements for those schools together sums up more than a tuition. We're talking about free and compulsory education. He's concerned about our rural women. He's concerned about rural Liberia, not just what's happening in Monrovia, but how are rural women doing? How's rural Liberia thriving? And we're going to see engagements that will be decentralized. So, honor a worker-led government. So, this is the kind of change that our people want. He's not going to be a president who's going to sit there and maintain the same fiscal team for 5, 6 years, even if they are not performing. He's going to hold his cabinet responsible. He's going to be a decisive leader. He's going to make sure that the concerns of the people in Sweju, of the people in Bobolu, the concerns of the people in Barclayville are equally as important as the concerns of the people in Monrovia. So we are asking our people to not be afraid. There's this general fear that, oh, there will be cheating, and people would tend to think that their votes will not be counted, or they would think that let's just stay on the winning side because these guys are going to rig the elections. No, there will be mechanisms in place. We will fight to protect those votes. Do not be afraid. Go and vote the candidate of your choice, preferably Joseph Yuma Boyka. Do not sit on the fence and say, well, the people in power, do not be afraid by that. There are people who are in power, who are strong, who want to thwart the system, but the will of the people is more powerful than that. And it's that will of the people that you see God lead us under the rain today, under the sunshine, under the rain, in the mud, asking for votes, because they know that once the people are resolved and the resolve is shown in large numbers, nothing can change the will of the people. So I want our people to come out and vote come October 10th for a leader who is going to change the course our country is currently on. We're talking about our hospitals here being mere building. Hospital is not just infrastructure, it's technology, it's the expertise that are in those hospitals. We want to see them functioning. You have people having to travel abroad simply because they cannot get medical treatment that is of quality in our country. You have most of the times the people are sick and they have to send them to where? Local pharmacy, go outside, go look for drugs. People are dying from preventable diseases in this day and age. So these are things that we are concerned about. But those bread and butter issues, you know them. You have lived them. You continue to live them. It's only you, the voters, that can change that. That's why I always say there are no true liberators of the people. It is only the people that can liberate themselves. It's only the people that can say we do not want to continuously live like this. We deserve better. Only the people who can say, let us look at our neighbors. Now, when you're on these flights in Liberia, you go in Ghana, you go in Togo, you see a lot of Liberians going for business. You go to those countries, you see how your neighbors are living. You get there and you can tell yourself you deserve the same, if not better. And the way to do so is to turn out, is to vote for change. And you know, the United Party led campaign is very visible. Since the campaign open, will be doing some district tours. You listen up. The campaign spokesman and the campaign committee will be announcing those. Turn up and show up in your numbers, because those numbers gives confidence to other people who are on the fence, to know that our supporters are out there, to know that
Thank
help
you.
is on the way. Stay put. And I'm sure that come October 10th, our people will be delivered, our people will be answered, our people will be heard. And Joseph Yima Boyka will just be the humble means through which this is done.
Thank you very much. Thank you to bring in more, mate. Our brother Abula.
Thank you. So everybody highlighted all the wrong things we have done. The people are living that. They continue to see it. The only point I want to just stress a little bit is Dr. Richardson's point about the emphasis on primary education. All around the world, the evidence show that investment in primary education is 2-3 times more profitable than investment in tertiary education. Because the foundation, everything begins with the foundation. You must build the foundation before people can go up. When you want to go further, they even put emphasis on when the child is in the mother womb, the first 100 days in the life of the child. It set the foundation for their cognitive capabilities. So you feed the mother well, so that when the child grows up, they get strong cognitive capability. You put them in good primary school, the possibility of them going to college and completing is very high. So emphasis all around the world is around caring for children when they are young. You abandon primary schools, children are sitting on the floor. Primary schools are not functional. And then you brag about declaring free university. That in itself is not free. So I just wanted to highlight that point. But then to talk about all the bad things that happen to people living here, they seeing it. What I want to stress is what will happen in the future if you mistakenly elect George Weah. What you're experiencing today will be worse. People don't have stoves, don't have freezers and X boxes in Liberia, in the villages. They are cooking 3 days soup. My auntie from Bapolu were telling me. They said we'll cook the soup now for 2 days to keep it. You don't have freezer. I'm saying, how do you keep it? He said we can find a way to keep it. Because they don't have money to go in the market the next day. That the extent to which the people reach. You elect we are the trouble that lies ahead. Because at that point, they're no longer asking you for your vote. We are knows he's not coming back. No president can run for third term. So he'll not be asking you for your vote. The year in which he is asking you for your vote, he built more horses for himself than he built schools for the entire country. And you think the year he's not asking you for your vote, he will build more schools for you? The year that he's begging you for your vote, he's entering into agreement to give up to 10% of your land space to people from the UAE. You think the year that he's not asking you for your vote, he wouldn't increase that number? The year that he's begging you for your vote, his Secretary General is threatening to move on ministers in his government. A talkish way of doing things, like talks, planning to move on people. You don't think when he's elected, At the point where he's not asking you for your vote, ministers will be driving in the street and people will just run on the road and stop them and take them from their cars. This man is asking you for your vote today and doesn't even know that civil servants have not taken pay. The danger that is lying ahead of us is just huge. We are saying it, the warning signs are on the wall. Like Mo Ali said, any opposition candidate, I want to restrict my own to the 4 top opposition. Any of the 4 opposition candidates in the race now are far better to bring stability to Liberia, preferably Councillor Tiawon Gongolo. But any of them can bring stability to our country. How do we solve that problem? If Gongolo is elected, we have made our case. I hear everybody here talk about agriculture. The problem we have in our country is we continue to copy and paste things that don't work. People talk about mechanized agriculture. People talk about modern farming. I read that Clara Masakwe piece on agriculture. I read Kumi's piece. Those are not things applicable to Liberia. Who are you dealing with? You're dealing with electric farmers. And then you're talking about modernized apps. They don't use it. The agriculture sector has layers. You can have somebody in 6th grade and you're teaching a Pantone. There are layers, there are grades, there are stages. The stage of our agriculture requires mechanized, but requires small-scale mechanization. What Gongolo intends to do to address agricultural problems, ask all the farmers, we conducted studies with them. 85% of their labor time and resources that is spent on clearing their land. So our effort to address that problem is to address agriculture through cooperatives, and we will use the military. Since we have military forces, that's agriculture department and soldiers who have manpower capabilities, but we're not using them because we're not going to war. The major war we face as a country is food insecurity. That is the threat to our country. We deploy military forces who has manpower capability to help our farmers clear their land through cooperatives, since they spend 85% of their time on clearing their land. Those are just strategic interventions you make. The emphasis is on mechanized, but it is small-scale mechanization. You bring big tractors into Liberia who have the skills to use them. When it's poor, who fix them? We've seen examples in Ghana. We've seen examples in Ethiopia. We see example in Uganda, how these large-scale mechanization fail, but we see successful small-scale mechanization successful in Asia. So that's why we bring it to Liberia, because that is the stage of our agriculture sector.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, my brother. Listen, we got only 16 more minutes to go. You got to give it your best shot. We got some videos to show our folks. Everybody will have 1 minute to speak. For me, I like to say this, and I like to be very simple. I'm going to upload more videos and pictures to remind our folks that we are in the business. We are in the business of what we do, and we ask you to pay attention. It is important, Gibson, very much important, that in everything, this is one of them. Okay, so when we talk about these things, right? The president promised that he going to raise $13.9 million to fight drugs. After this same president said it was okay to let go of what the United States grabbed, those individuals grab the $140 million drugs, grab it, send them to court under the Liberian Constitution and law. President Weah said, you let the people go. After investigation and everything, the president of Liberia, George Manneh Weah, said, you let the people go. He said nobody should touch them. They should go. So what is happening today? The people left. The same day they left. He said, you let all these people then that decide to go, let them go, Mo Ali. Don't touch them. Don't touch them. And today, we get nothing from that case. President Weah let them go. See what's happening to our people. So, Joe, we're asking you, my fellow Liberians, say, yo, please vote for me. He went on the ring, the poo water, everything to say, you give me second chance. But when the people brought in the drugs, worth $140 million, Joe, I say, you let them go. Where's the drugs today? You let them go. You see? When we say this thing, people, just imagine. Look at this other young man. Let me share it to you guys. Our country is in a bad place. But yet and still, President Weah decided to get out there and say, you give me your vote. Yet and still, without shame, this president, Dr. George Manuel Weah, walk in poo water. Like you see, we can say in when we're picking it. He drove in the poo water to ask the people and say, you give me your vote. Why your sons and daughters on the street banging their head on a coach? Why? Why should we sit here and think that this is a joke? Why should we sit here and think that it's okay? Why should we sit here and think that because President Weah can go under the ring and say, give me your vote, you must give it to him? Look how empty the place is. The president is a letdown. But you know what happened though? Through it all, he was able to build these homes for his own relaxation. Through it all, he was able to celebrate. He was able to celebrate everything like you want to believe, He was able to build them. So let me ask you a question. Look at this street. And look at this one person we're driving through to go ask you for your vote. Look at these buildings, Caves and Jeru, that your friend be President we at. Look at these things. And look at where President we are going to ask the people, say, you give me your vote. After President Weah agreed to give the people about $14.something million, see what happening. Look at the people rose in Western Cluster. How dare this president to even travel on the street, to sit down, and he falling asleep. Is he on coach? He falling asleep. He's done. He have realized that it's over. C'est fini. We used to dance with that music when we were picking. It is over. It is over. Now I gotta go. It is over. It is over. And that's why the people, I will end with this one because I know you guys got to close. I'm doing my closing. The Royal International Airport. Look at the roll car jumping into that thing. No if and no but. The person just went straight into that. And at the end of the day, the people have agreed. And they put this together. And they send it and they say, Senator, please play it. And we will play it today. The rest video, that
Yeah, I am.
Remember when President Weah said he gave $11 million to the people up to now? We can see that $11 million. Women then jumping over fence. So in it all, through it all, people bumping their head, and President Weah getting mad. It's called it. Guess you know we call it the audacity to go on the street and tell the people, so you'll give me your vote. So the people get a message for him. Two things we're going to do after your close. I will play this one, we'll play the other one. The person still, can you play our video?
It's sad to say that I'm not a politician. I was brought on board by these people, and the people brought me because they wanted something. You understand? So what we're doing now,
was brought on board by the people that they made excuse now. Guess what? When I hearing you, the man said, don't blame me. I was brought on board by these people. Who these people? You. That's why he make you to drink poo-poo water. You. That's why your roads are bad. You. That's why you cannot go into Maryland County. You got to come through Ivory Coast. You. That's why the president built all his mansion. You. That's why Senator is the most corrupt individual on earth. You. And at the end of the day, the staff not just met and say, you know what? We'll play this song.
There we are go. There we are go. There we are go. We tire. There we are go. Chawiago, amen. Devils are crying, no. African women are crying, no. Chawiago, we tire, oh, Chawiago. Innocent people are dying, yo. The students are staying home. Chawiago, we tire, oh, Chawiago. Chawiago. Jawiago, we tire, oh, Jawiago, 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 we tire, oh, Jawiago, Jawiago, yeah, Jawiago, we tire, oh, Jawiago. The people are suffering, no. Jawiago, we tire, Jawiago. We tire with the hunger, we tire eating curry, oh. Jawiago, we tire, Jawiago. Musicians are crying, oh. Hospitals are empty, oh. Jawiago. We tire, oh, Jawiago, Jawiago, Jawiago. Go, 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 go. Yeah, we tire, oh, Jawiago, Jawiago, go, 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 go. Jawiago, tire suffering, suffering, oh, Jawiago, Jawiago, we tire eating curry, oh. We tire walking around. Jawiago, Jawiago, go, 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 go. Jawiago.
Thank you, folks. Thank you very much. We're going to do our closing. This is me. This is what I do. I care less. Liberia deserve better. They can do anything they want to do. I care less. They made me invest. And I would say over and over, I would do it over and over. The people deserve better. You know, we're about to show you something after you guys close. Liberians are gathering in this living room, maybe 20 of them, just to listen to the show because they see the government shut down the radio station. The message will be heard. Liberia deserve better. People will listen and they will vote because we open their eyes. They will stay up all night because they know President we have lied to them. The president shouldn't be president past January 24th. After the election, October 10th, we start shepherding the government. We start holding folks. Listen, I say this to you. Somebody promised me a president we're using that plane, that private jet to go up and down. And if it is true, it was given to him or borrowed to him by his friend from Ivory Coast. They got to get that document ready. Because I can assure you that plane will be grounded. That plane document will be revealed. President we are brother-in-law. They call him Michael Donkey. All the money he's making from Liberia, the golds, the diamonds, the resources he's selling. We will tell you about him tomorrow. President we are make this man to be his chief director or overhead administrator on all of his charity foundation. And the man taking Liberian people money, his resources. You see the homes in Jamaica, in New York. Trust me, we got all the document. The man is protected by the Liberian Armed Forces. President we said nobody must touch him. The man fly in helicopter to go to Boklon J and dig the gold and diamonds. The man fly in Nimba in Grand Jide. And the man giving President we own the money. Why should we sit here because of friendship and believe this nonsense? That the president is a good man. President Weah is not a good man. President Weah is the most corrupt, most evil president Liberia ever had. Yes, I said it. Yes, I said it. The president deserves nothing but to leave power by democratic means, by the voting of you people going to the ballot and vote. The president deceived the Liberian people. Seeing honor the ring today, he said no, it's over. He has said no, c'est fini for him. Hey, government ministers and directors that are talking to us every night and hiding themselves, we are about to reveal them. They will call us, they will tell us, hey, this thing over, president will not be elected, but don't call my name. I got your text message, I got your name, I will reveal you except somebody tell me don't do it.
Don't do it.
They will kill you.
Something wrong with you, eh?
Nothing wrong with me. Nothing wrong with me. These
These
people that lying to George Weah every day and saying you will win, Mr. President. Some of them don't want to come back to Liberia because they not promised George Weah they don't want to be seen. They say in ECOWAS meeting, we got your message.
Amen. You better watch yourself.
No, it's election season. My man, after election,
when you get in your spirit, that's small thing.
No, not when I get in my spirit. More Ali tell the man to leave me, man. We're not joking yet. Tell the man to leave me, more.
More Ali tell your cousin.
Tell the man to leave me. It's not a joke.
Don't call no name.
Liberia deserves better. Liberia deserves better. Liberia deserves better. They will sit down there and lie to President Weah. Take him under the ring. My time finished. I yield.
Your time finished.
Thank you.
Loaded freestyle, then you loaded music. Loaded freestyle, you loaded music.
Gentlemen, let's do the closing.
But why Tata Francine didn't mute the man? Why you didn't mute the man, Tata Francine?
She enjoying it. But listen, folks, it's very serious. It's very serious. Let's do our closing 2 minutes real quick because this thing is coming to the wire. We got to tell the people the truth.
You know,
President Weah cannot. Go ahead, Gibson.
I like to suggest that we begin and end with the music every time we come here. Because when the man was singing, I heard my own daughter there. He said, Joey Amo, I'm laying in Joey Amo. I heard that one. So he said, George Weah, you are so wicked. You must go. You are so bad. Go. You disappoint Liberian people. Go. George Weah, you're not tired stealing. Go. You got too many houses you built for our money. Go. I heard that one you cry very well. And I think we should begin with that song and end with that song every time we come. I just wanted to say this.
Don't rush until you hear the begin doing a freestyle for the drugs that we have brought. Don't rush. Even Stanton himself, when he play in a car, they wouldn't be saying that he can be playing. And into the video for that one. Don't rush, Gibson. I'm warning you all. Because when you hear tonight, you say, wouldn't be saying that he can be playing.
Oh, Joey Amo. I'm laying in Joey Amo. I think I can go on that guy to answer his song. But look, let me just say this. All hope is not lost. All hope is not lost. the good thing is we got a very powerful opposition. Either one from the opposition can make a better president than George Weah. But just in case you were looking for a suggestion, I want to say this. I'm going to be very brief tonight. We said a lot tonight, and I think the show is a very great show. You know, when I'm talking about Councillor Gonglo, I am not talking about him because I want to play politics. I'm talking about him because this is the man I know. If you are one of those silent voters, those of you I met in how do you call that place when you come from the new bridge over there, Vartown. Those of you I met, those group of boys that came around me in Vartown, you remember what I told you. Your life depends on this election. You either vote for Councillor Gonglo and revive the situation in your country. For me, I am interested in the rule of law part of it. Look, my brother, if the country is developing financially, the economic is strong, everything, and people are dying and no investigation, nobody arrested, no prosecution of the criminals, the country is in deep stuff. And that's why some of us now, we see you go to our houses and some support, their fame turn in their house. Somebody told you, you're going to hop on and say you're carrying the fence up because I'm scared. I don't want Aaron Robert to come there because people are dying in Georgia government and no investigation. He doesn't care. Councillor Gonglo has a panacea. He has a way forward. If you want the rule of law in this country, if you want people to be punished for corruption, we are going to laser focus on synthesizing the country with corruption. We know that corruption cannot be eliminated, but it can be minimized to the minimum so that you yourself will see. Let me give you one example. Let me give you one example.
Very quick, Gibson. Very quick, please.
If you see when Gonglo take over, you see Samuel Tuer going to jail, rightfully, not wrongly. When Samuel Tuer go to jail for money that he made or stealing, if you see Maggie going to jail for money he may have stolen, if you see government officials in Erling and Joshua government going to jail for their role in corruption, you think if Gibson Jeru is a minister in Tiawan Gonglo government university, he will be trimming to make sure he does the right thing. That is how we're going to start. Follow us and vote for us. Give us the vote. We believe we'll resurrect our country again to shine.
Thank you very much, Gibson. Thank you. Let's bring in Prince Maxwell. Prince from the Clarence Motorbike Camp. Go ahead, sir.
Well, it is clear to us that President Weah has made himself a liability to the Constitution. He himself has done that to himself. Not only that, he's also made himself a captive, and he's now being captured by certain members of his cabinet, which has made him very ineffective. Now, why is Dr. Clarence Moniba a better candidate and a better leader than George Weah? Number one, I will just go ahead as very quickly as possible. The rule of law. Dr. Clarence Moniba is intended on reducing the vulnerability of the rule of law and the justice system to political manipulation. In George Weah government, he has allowed the judiciary and our legal system to be at the mercy of political manipulation. Not only that, Dr. Moniba has decided, and he's very keen on the idea of electricity consistency and sustainability, which is a major part of our national security and a critical element in our national and economic development. These are the elements of things that have made Dr. Moniba a better leader than George Weah and a better presidential office holder than George Weah. Land reform. Dr. Moniba is very concerned about land reform. He understands the significance and the underpinning element of land reform in Liberia. He knows fully well that our economic success is tied to our land reform and making sure we have a good land reform that produces mortgage lending programs is very, very important for our economic development, and not only that, for our women empowerment. He has made sure that he will insert a dedicated fund for women empowerment in Liberia that provide lending for women household owners, entrepreneurs, and ordinary people. He knows that. He's decided also in his policy, and these are just some of the things I'm just saying, some of the excellent things and good things that he wants to do and he intends to do for Liberian people. Increase funding and the independence of legislatures. We know that legislatures have been underfunded. They are responsible to provide the data, the raw data, so that we understand our governance in Liberia. And they have been completely pushed aside. He also knows fully well that he will be establishing an anti-corruption code in Liberia so that corruption can be zero tolerance. Zero tolerance. Increasing police transparency and accountability to communities they serve is a critical element of Dr. Moniba's vision for Liberia. These are look, I can go on and on and on about many things. Since I'm just in my closing statement here, I'll just make it short as possible and give you a taste of tomorrow what I will be talking about. Dr. Moniba I'll be looking at Dr. Moniba policy on buy what you can policy, which is part of his agriculture policy. Healthcare and healthcare infrastructure development, education, and capacity development. These are things that I will be looking at and digging deeper into the critical underpinning element of electricity, transmission, and distribution. Thank you.
All right, Comrade Cole, we're going to keep Mo Ali for later.
Thank you again. Thank you again for the opportunity to be here and remind the Liberian people how crucial these elections are. As we go closer to October, we cannot stress any further how much is necessary to elect a leader who has the experience, the political will, and the knowledge to take our country forward. I've come to ask all of those who are undecided, all of those who want to vote within the block of the opposition, to remember that we are the forerunners. The numbers are there, and it's a good thing to increase your chances of getting this government up by voting Ambassador Joseph Yima Boyka. And I want you to know that the train still has room for everybody. We are the people who will incorporate all well-meaning Liberians, all qualified Liberians. It doesn't matter whether you come from Lino, the ANC, the LP, the CPP, the citizen petition and united to petition anyone, any movement you come from. Once you are a well-meaning Liberian, the LPP, we are going to make sure we all can work together for the betterment of our country. And when this train shall have arrived, come January, the JMB Big Ten is there, waiting to incorporate everybody. That credibility of inclusion, that inclusion that is needed to bring our country together and build a more civilized society. A leader who cares about the future of the country, who sees potential, who himself benefited from coming all the way from Foya to the capital, who sees the need that children in the villages in rural Liberia too should have opportunity to get good education, to contribute to their country. That is the leader we're asking you to vote for. The one who cares about the views of rural women, rural Liberia, the decentralization of our country and our government and our state power, as well as our resources. To the people of Nima specifically, we have our own issues, same as the people of Wong. We cannot be sitting and waiting for handouts when we have social development funds, over $8 million sitting down, and government will not release those funds for the development of our counties. We need a government who will be accountable, who will help us work together to build rural Liberia. So I will ask all of you to give your support to the Honorable Joseph Yima Boyka, and your support also to Honorable Jeremiah Kwankun, so that Liberia moves forward. And yes, one of our supporters here in the CDC, one of our writers are saying yes. Even in the CDC, there are well-meaning Liberians who are credible, who are able to contribute. We have a united front. We have the large team. We are going beyond party lines, tribal lines, sections of our country to ensure that we are a united people and we can build a new Liberia that everyone will be proud of, that people will retire and go to and say, yes, I've come back home. So let us continue to work to ensure that this change is effected. Come out and vote. Do not be afraid. Your votes will be counted come October 10th. Remember, it's the number 2. Vote 2 for a better Liberia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mapep Cole. Thank you very, very much. Let's bring in Mo Ali. Mo.
Yes, sir. So it was a great show tonight, a very fiery one. And in as much as they've tried to silence this network, the Liberian people will still get the message. Because I believe the only reason why they use Wilmot Smith, a very bad and corrupt human being. By the way, Wilmot Smith was expelled from the SUP veteran community by the SUP leadership about a year or so ago because of his involvement in corruption at Lisgis. He's contesting as Samuel Twelve's candidate in District 12 against the CDC candidate, but that one had their business. I hope they will beat all of them. They kept coming, we want to carry a corrupt cell to the legislature. We can sit and force among ourselves as much as we want to as opposition. And if we don't focus the arrow at Mr. Weir and his CDC, they usually benefit from our fight. Like someone said the last time, yeah, it doesn't mean because we want to take off Mr. Weir, so we'll not critique other opposition candidates. No, we can critique each other because it helps us to see where we are falling short. But when we do it to the detriment of us removing Mr. Weir, after January, we'll all can sit down Spunto again because then he will be riding like Benson we said one time. We'll all park when they blow the siren, park on the side of the road, then he goes. What Mr. Weir and his gang have done to Liberia, the only thing that is absent from it is the gun sound and those bullet-riddled war that we saw during the 14 years of civil crisis. Sometimes we are supporting political candidates who could become president. But sometimes you sit and reflect and begin to worry the kind of economy they are going to inherit. And the biggest part of the worry is that the Liberian people are going to be extremely intolerant to any president who is not going to fix things in this country. You have to start moving from day one. That is where Mr. Weir has brought this country. When we think about the damage they've done to the young people with no care at all. The ruling party will all in campaign. They can vote us as much as possible, will not get money. Everybody don't have money. Every one of the other opposition political parties, we don't have the kind of money that they have. You cannot build a rehabilitation center for the young people who are in the street taking drugs. Or you're able to buy motorbikes and supply to school children in Nimba, in other counties. You cannot provide logistics for the police, the DEA, the soldiers to fight crime. Or you're able to buy more than 70, 100 pickup trucks for people to campaign. What place they getting that no money from that we too we able to get money from there? Every one of us supposed to depend on this small fundraising and due payment. And when you calculate it, no party able to buy more than 200 pickup, 100 pickup, 60 pickup. You're not able. But they are parading them. And it brings to mind what they plan to do in a second thing. One of the panelists just said, if they do it in the first thing what you're fighting for, you say, oh, let me do better to get second thing. When you do nothing, you're getting second thing, my people will finish. And most of the panelists you see, so in fact, all the panelists on the show tonight are the only person in Liberia. These people can live in America for the rest of their life. They will be better. They will always get a job. Will there be here and there be begging them? They didn't get very odd. You call whole day and not answer your call.
I mean, but you can't. You say you won't go back. You say you want to stay. So don't. You say you don't want to stay. You going back.
You know, they've shown you pictures. I know somebody will argue, but see 1847 is not happening. The time they were campaigning, they say we'll change for hope. Your hope that things will change. Plenty of people were there, they got disappointed and they left. Because these people.
Sorry, Mo, can you please put this down, please? Thank you. Go ahead, Mo.
These people came with no
Are you
mind.
sure it's not Stanton putting it there?
No, it's not me. I know who's
they
doing
came
it.
with no good mind, but to chakla things in this country. And the second to the last part, you know, when you go to campaign to them, when you go to them, they pass around. What they gave you is crumbs. Anytime these people gave you $10, what they've eaten in your name is almost $1,000. There is a story with them. Even among themselves, their own campaign money spent on the corrupting it. When it's all to get candidates 3,000 each, the candidate go, they put the money in your hand when you want county to ensure that it's 3,000. Hey, no. Don't manage you can count money from the chairman. Oh. You can't do that though. Guess what? Some of them go sit down in their car when they count the money that $900. What about they finish signing for $3,000? Their own campaign money they stealing it. So we are just passing around 18 and get my man Eugene when he say he spent 5,000 that 20,000 he finished chopping. So Ambassador Boakai has come to you people. Like any other candidate, we are presenting to you experience plus the know-how and the understanding of the problems. In closing, tomorrow we'll be naming the rest of our campaign team at the Rescue Center. You are invited. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You want to give that announcement better? What time?
So tomorrow by 2 p.m., Ambassador Joseph Juma Boakai will be having a press conference at the rescue center, during which time he will announce the rest of the campaign team for the rescue mission. He will also be speaking on some critical national issues.
Thank you very much. Is that everyone invited? We're not hearing you, Mo.
Everyone is invited. Even if Gibson were here, he will invite him to go there to cover it. The man are still journalists.
Dr. Richardson is invited?
Yeah, but Dr. Richardson will try about here tomorrow. She will watch it.
Okay. Dr. Richardson, can you do your closing?
Yeah, they've been calling me fake journalist. I gotta respond. 10 seconds.
I didn't say fake journalist. The man is still a journalist.
Oh, yeah.
No,
You're
I said
right.
I didn't say fake. I said
More you ran away from America, now you're talking about how who told you to leave? So
The window will soon be coming, so you run away quick.
I know. I want to speak about the Millennium Challenge Corporation and speak about the section in which we failed. Samuel 12.
Are you speaking of Dr. Moruba? Because he controlled that thing about that Millennium MCC project, and they built a hydro. Anyway, go ahead, Dr. Richardson. I'm sorry to call Clarence's name.
She's speaking directly to
Samuel
Twain.
is going to also investigate Dr. Moruba role in the Ellen government as well.
No. We had
he has called many times for an open investigation.
No. We had a good show today. We're not going to mess it up. We're going to keep on going.
The purpose of the MCC is to reduce poverty in Africa and to sustain our economic growth. So, we have Samuel Toy in our country. He's the Minister of Finance who tends to do fussy math. He's a good speaker. He thinks he can manipulate anybody into believing what he wants them to believe, but not in the developed world. And when he presented the MCC to the United States government and its partners, even though we passed, but we failed. We didn't get money. In the past, we did get money that contributed to building the hydro system in Liberia. We failed in areas that we've spoken about tonight. For example, the economic freedom, fiscal policy. When a president starts to turn back the clock in terms of our anti-corruption law, we are moving towards failing in our fiscal policies, the policies that govern how we collect revenue and how we spend our revenue. The president also can create budget, giving himself $150 million at his own discretion that he can use. He can create budget to pay, whoever he wants to pay without any accountability. And this is why, again, when the American government and its partners look at the MCC, we failed. It relates to fiscal policy. There's no check and balance in our fiscal policy in Liberia. We'll move on to regulatory quality. We also feel that area as well. The primary reason, perhaps, is because our legal system in the country. If you are not a certain person, you don't get justice. Justice is not blind to you. You can pay our justice system in our country. And so, as it is stated in the most recent economic report in our country, people get bribed. Investors are not coming because we are bribing people. The next is the topic of ruling justice, where they fill us on government effectiveness. I'm not surprised. We have all the laws on the books, but the willpower to implement those laws makes our government ineffective. When our president can be in a car driving and people making another lane and nothing is done about it, in fact, the legislators decided that they will pass a law where they can do that. The rest of us in Liberia cannot. How effective, those little things, how effective will a government run when traffic can last anywhere between 3 to 5 hours. How effective a government run? When a president can go and campaign and the whole city, one area of the city will shut down. How effective will a government run? When government employees are asked not to go to work because the president is running his campaign. How effective will a government run? I ask you to think about that. And lastly, just like I spoke to you about investing in the people, we don't care. Judge, our government does not care. We never invested in primary education, as we are spoken to you today about it being the foundation of human life. The potential for our country to be better lies in primary and early education, dating back to the pregnant woman. We failed in natural resources. People come all over the different investors come all over the world, from all over the world, come to Liberia. Our logging company, they just go cut down all our trees, cut it down, take what they want. Nobody follows up. How many times have different communities in our country complained about no corporate responsibility to their land? In fact, when we speak about the bogus agreements, that was part of the agreement, making sure that whoever is taking logs or cutting our trees down provide for the community. We failed that. And lastly, we failed immunization. I remember as a child, in fact, many of us of this era, if you look at your arm, you have a scar on your arm because we used to get immunized in school. People used to come give us shots for different things. I don't know. When was the last time children in Liberia was immunized against recent diseases? The fact that we don't pay attention to our children in Liberia tells us that we're not ready to pay attention to the next generation. I'm asking you today to please give Mr. Cummings and Councillor Brunsky a chance. We know we're not going to come to you and tell you that, oh, we're popular, we're going to win. We're not going to come to you and tell you this is our time. We're not going to come to you and tell you that we're leading the polls, so, we are resolved for winning. We want to come to you to tell you, to ask us the questions about how we can develop your country. Ask us the question about how we can partner with you to make Liberia a more deserving place. I can tell you, as I spoke to you about earlier, if Mr. Cummings is given the chance, we will be passing MCC. You know why? Because he's not going to tolerate any kind of fussy math behavior behind him. He's not going to tolerate any kind of fast talker person behind him. He's going to check you. He knows how to negotiate. I'm going to close on this. His experience in public, business services, which commensurate with being in public service, that's why I wanted to say public, allows him to market our country where the value of our country will be seen and people will not be throwing us chicken change. The MCC will not look at us and say, oh, you don't deserve to get the money that you need to get. Because Mr. Cummings will make sure that he follows up and call and say, what happened? Why did we not get the money? We got it before. What can we improve on? Let me see the numbers. He's not going to just take no for an answer because of lack of confidence in himself or because he did fuzzy math. So please give Mr. Cummings a chance. Give Councillor Brunsky a chance. Let us come knock on your door to make our case to you. Thank you.
Dr. Richardson, thank you. We've been having a wonderful program, but after Fagon, I just get one question. Fagon, can you help me answer this question?
Ask me no question, please.
Huh?
I'm supposed to show on a good note.
Oh, no, not you, Mama. I said Fagon.
Oh, okay. I thought you were...
No, I just wanted to know. Everybody started a campaign. Is this Mr. Cummings started campaign? Mr. Cummings started a campaign.
What are you in Liberia? Has Mr. Cummings started his campaign already?
That the beginning of the campaign here?
Yeah, at the beginning of the campaign. What I
Yes.
heard that the picture they sent to me.
Y'all can test story. And Gibson, you believe in it? I believe
You see, Fagon, why you're talking, Fagon? You sent me this picture. You said Mr. Cummings started his campaign. Then I'm showing it.
So don't lie on me. I know nothing about no picture.
Thank you, yeah, Fagon.
I see.
Fagon, I forget it's not you. I forgot. That Prince Maxwell sent it to me. How many?
Are they marching to the party headquarters?
You know, I'll never bring myself down to this kind of level.
Anyway, let's leave that to Richard here alone.
When I saw the picture, I didn't know nothing about that picture, but I said,
are they marching to the party headquarters?
I said, who not Chinese Rico they carrying to school that I saw? Somebody said,
you guys are so threatened. You guys are so threatened.
Somebody said,
imagine
Mama, today, listen, we're not talking about Mo sent a picture. He said this was. He said this was 2 days ago when Mr. Cummings came out. Mr. Cummings came out and said he was ready.
Let me see that.
Mr. Cummings came out and said you are ready to go vote. The campaign has started and everybody should join him. So when he called everybody to join him, those are the people he got.
That is not true. False narrative.
False narrative. He get over that offense. The only thing he get a poor back. My time we're going to school, I want to call in there.
Okay.
Mommy, start laughing behind the door. Prince and
Thank you, Prince, for that entertainment.
I will not partake in any such discussion.
Why you go to get them, brother? You stay wearing that ring, go to school. I said, but who not try to carry to school and keep my people? No problem.
Let me see you walking.
Fagon, here's the thing, right? I'm trying to find out when Mr. Cummings started his campaign. I asked the question on the show. So Moari said, oh, Mr. Cummings started his campaign, and Prince Maxwell told me Mr. Cummings was out. And he and his group. So Mr. Cummings said the campaign has started. You come and join me. You have Mr. Cummings. So we had to put our drone in the air to capture this picture. You 16 people join. It's not a bad start though, Gibson. I don't think it's a bad start though.
No,
Stanton, I called you to tell you that vote number 13. That's what I called to tell you. Vote number 13.
No, but I don't think it's a bad start though. I don't think it's a bad start. At least he got 16 people with him. Should we count them? Should we count them?
Yeah, let's count them. I can count them from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
Oh, 25? So can we count the cars? Maybe some people in the cars too.
1, 2, 3, 3 cars.
One
pen, one motorbike.
It's in a zoom in.
But yeah, the zoom now. You zoom in there.
But well, what are other men doing with Pizza Hut t-shirts?
Have you not realized that he's selling pizza? And the man anyway with Pizza Hut t-shirt.
Oh, 8 o'clock.
I beg you. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do your closing. Let's go, but man, I don't do this to me. I beg you.
After all that you guys said, there is a new song in time. Everything that you said on this platform, all of you, if a missing for in that song, I will resign. And let a young man by the name of Rap God with a double D at the end. He did it in freestyle and he did it with the music. That music will play in my car until inauguration day. Because I can't say election day. I want Stanton for my closing to play the freestyle first where he in his lip, green t-shirt sitting and just talking from his mouth.
No, but why we can show them they are gathering somewhere first? Let's show them, then we'll play the music, right?
Because we told them that tonight, that song will be introduced to the Liberian people. They gather in the living room. All of them that have been rehabilitated, that have resisted drugs. It's so something that will be very touching. All of them that have walked away from drugs, they are learning carpentry. They are learning. Why you wiping your eye? You quit to cry and stand on that. You gotta be mad sometime.
No, man,
they have given up the drugs, and the only thing the little boy could do was to sing that song. And I am offering any videographer who is able to attach a video to that music, I'm offering to pay, because they have changed their lives and they have now decided to do a song to remember their past. So for my closing tonight, I want the freestyle and I want the one with the musical instrument attached for the Liberian people to see that indeed enough is enough.
So let's do them first. They're sitting in the living room. Watch, guys.
Everything to see me give me second chance. But when the people got in the
sitting down washing, you wash it. Everybody I bring them from their dorm to come in my piazza to come and wash. The sisters. What it man? Where rap ball? Come to the camera. Yeah, the man. I mean what? Fagon. I mean what? More than 1 minute today.
That's the boy they call God. Look at him. And when he does the freestyle, you will have the opportunity when music is attached to it. It will blow you out of the park.
Let's play the music. Let's go ahead. Nelson, can you play it, please? Nelson?
The rescue team, one love, coming out the cheese, but prove the rap war. Cheese they say the food in our drugs. For you know, I can't papa the only one. Like the cheese, the money learning more talk. But boy, generally feeling for the people more. Like the cheese. Or I know sleep a qua. That time we're feeling we're waiting the children on. Like the cheese, they say the food in our drugs. For you know, I can't papa the only one. Like the cheese, the money learning more talk. But boy, generally feeling for the people more. Like the cheese. Or I know sleep a qua. That time we're feeling we're waiting the children on. To win inauguration, you start your explanation. Give me 7 nation, I have the motivation. I've seen the more corruption, say teaching motion. Say woman and worry, only your irritation. Declare assets, say you need some concentration. As a calculation, corruption, not your vision, but it's time too late for you to do investigation. When in the future, everything in occupation. Living in the country like we own a prosecution. The United Nations to tap in the situation. The money lost, they're making fun and fabricating. For the continue coming, bring separation. Money not the money in the country population. Say this thing won't happen, carry on demonstration. Say we break a rules, the thing we deal a violation. Like the cheese, they say the food in our drugs. For you know, I can't papa the only one. Like the cheese, the money learning more talk. But boy, generally feeling for the people more. Like the cheese. Or I know sleep a qua. That time we're feeling we're waiting the children on. Like the cheese, they say the food in our drugs. For you know, I can't papa the only one. Like the cheese, the money learning more talk. But boy, generally feeling for the people more. Like the cheese. Or I know sleep a qua. That time we're feeling we're waiting the children on. 24 says I home, I see you calculate. I stay at home with friends who can elevate. I indoor out with people who can motivate. You elevate when you calculating them, my tingle snake. I take my time to cross the road because I'm on trip. They say I time to go chair, home my power. I rather suffer than to get my loving mother. He had a be late to my return teacher. You get a degree, you want more a lot of error. And when you put it to get job, you tell a killer. They couldn't check in on the government on state. I feel you lot in other school and the college. You selling house school at grade 4, drop it. And when you get it, you wonder you tend to fake. Don't mind the present, you try to damage a feature. That's the time you keep it cool, it will be better. So there I go to bill, I'm drinking water. I can remember one night and one go serious. I made the flower in water to fill my stomach. I never slept, I felt a pain for a tour. The next morning I wake up, I told a doctor. As we were storage, she tell me wrap up be serious. My father's body was sorry for now, I came and go. When I was sleeping, said the brother causing happen loss. But look the area, the 15 and the suffer all. The market women and stuff in the ghetto market was. The sin of chamber in the school is stepping in super ball. Scooping a rosa, a parent thinking on scooping door. The people crying and saying you doing nothing. You fall a mother, you are flying a chaplain. Not when the vision opposition said it laughing. The thing I'm talking about, Papa, I want you lazy. Do your campaign by or crowley. For school squeezes and working at the crazy. They eating nothing that they to make happy. 2 hours go and stay by it make it. Like jeez, they say the food in our drugs. For you know, I can papa the only one. Like jeez, the money learning more talk.
Hey, man, look, I told you everything you say here. The boy capture it in serious rap. But listen to the man with all musical instrument himself. Himself, no instrument. So you can see him vis-a-vis when he was putting his lyrics together.
Wow. He's talented.
From the street, everybody's silent. Market women are walking all in mud.
That's what you
when
got.
You learn to my book, you teacher.
They say you want to be teacher. That's why it touched me. They feel when you learn, they should put you somewhere. Why you go teach, man? You say you know book. It's a very true statement.
You not to all you got on drugs. No, the lyrics there in the song. The song hit the #1 chart and it will. We only lucky. I mean, I
when you learn book, they say you crazy. By the time they say you get PhD, that PhD.
The men say you go to school, you're not woman, you 10 fag. I mean, the lyrics are so. Look, when you see what the little boy is preaching,
that's
the G's. The feeding all with drug, the U.S. red flying like jet.
All the things the boy said that only thing you heard Fagon about fake business.
You just won't bring all kind of talk here, but hey, you go to school, you suffering for grade, you're not woman, you tend to fag. All those kind of the lyrics captures everything that everyone have said. When you see him in the freestyle, as simple, that music captivates everything. You got it. You got a freestyle, Stento?
Fagon is going to take forever. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow. It's
okay. Let me close.
Yeah.
But you know what? I get my whole time. Play that music one more time because Nelson was jealous of the picking when I call it the music halfway.
All right, so we're gonna play one last time. That's the 2-minute closing.
Yeah,
then
that's
we're
my
gonna
closing.
leave. Because the guys got to come back.
Yeah, that is what completely said.
Let's do the late night.
Music with a small share.
Okay. So you want us? What you want us to do now? You want us to show the pizza man, the man with the pizza?
No, that is pizza. Play my music. What the fuck go Pizza Hut? Pizza Hut, where the pizza they give me? Why?
The freestyle is ready.
Play my song.
All right, play the freestyle, man. So play the freestyle.
Let me ask the
Universe are the G's. The money not the water. People generally feeding for the people more are the G's. Or the last level court. That time we finish with waiting the children on. Doing inauguration is start an explanation. Give me 7 nation I have una motivation. After teaching more corruption, start teaching motion. Say we wanna worry on a jurisdiction, declare assets, say it needs a concentration. After calculation, corruption, not show a vision, but it's too late for you to do investigation. When you division have it occupation, living in a country like una persecution. The United Nations to start being celebration. The money law, they make it for a fabricating. Further, if you continue coming, bring separation. Money now the people, money in the country population. Say, let's see, one of the carry on demonstration. Say, we break a rule, two jail foundation, not the cheese. They say, the food in our jaws. For me, arguing the papa, the only was that the cheese, money on the woman to people in general, feeding for the people more.
That is cheese.
Or a New York labor court. That's how we feeding, we go to the children on.
That is cheese.
The person that go see you calculate. I say, I have a friend who can elevate. I either our people who can motivate. You are like when you calculating them a divorce snake. I tell my time to cost because I won't trip. The day I tell to go, check, go my power. I rather suffer to the game of lovely model. He had a be late to my teacher. You get a TV, you will and love an error. And when you voted to that job, you tell the killer. The corner shaking on the government state. I think you learned ever school in a college. You selling out of school and grade for a drop it. And when you get it, you wonder you take the fake. Don't mind the person you try to damage a feature. That thing I tell you, keep it cool, it will be better. So they are going to bill out of drinking water. I can remember one night, one was serious. I made the flower in water the famous stomach. I never slept, I felt the pin for a 2 hours. The next morning, I woke up, I told the doctor, and see my storage, she carried rubber, be serious.
The next morning, you woke up, you told Dr. Francine. I told the doctor, they see Francine.
So somebody just.
So you guess it?
Somebody just said this. We are about to go, Fagon.
This is the reality of the situation.
We are about to go. I'm giving your number to this person. Somebody just.
Can we send the guy to the studio? Can we send the studio?
Real quick, if you want to contribute,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Somebody just said that they are contributing $1,000 to this young man to go to the studio, and I hope others can contribute. Fagon, I will say yourself a number. A very, very good, brilliant young man. They are contributing 1,000 United States dollars to help with the studio recording. Again, that's beautiful. That's very, very fruitful. And everything he said is true. That's the G's. Have a good night. God bless you all.
On a chair, be comment at a friend. You and I chair be teacher.
Vote number 13, my dear.
Yo, cabinet minister position.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get cabinet minister position.
Yes, you and I chair be teacher.
They said that Francine, he said, well, she will not be teacher.
Well, folks, we want to say thank you for joining us tonight on this edition of the program Spoon Talk. Thanks for making your contributions in the comment section and following this program tonight. The invitation is yours to join us tomorrow for another great presentation of the program. I'm Nelson Colette. You can join us tonight on the late night politics on Spoon. Of course, I'll be here with the rest of the guys, and it's going to be a great one. It's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern Time and 1 a.m. Liberian Time. Until then, have for yourselves a great day. And bye-bye for now. Keep following Spoon. And, of course, keep making your contribution in the comment section. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. A special one from the CEO, Stan Tunnel with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band. Charges on the beat.
To the spoon to get your information. To the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon, spoon, spoon television. Spoon, spoon, spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Monrovia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon.